One, two, tres, cuatro.
For a race, and it was like hybrid. The screen just went black, and then a thing came up on the screen just said hibernating, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And it just shut off, and then it was like, your battery's on 0%, and the laptop never moves, it's always plugged in. I'm like, how? And it was like, you need to replace your battery. And then
fuck,
yeah, that was my reaction. I went and like looked at the battery, and it was like the charger had come undone. And like it was on 0, and it was charging. It was up to like 5% at that point. I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna ignore this.
Just let it ride, babe.
But that is a legit side hustle in the hood.
It's like, yeah,
undocumented
Uber.
Yeah.
Oh no, believe me, I've been privy to many a times there being a gentleman that someone or I know they show up in a Lincoln Town car or a limousine that's like beat the shit.
That's a pimp.
Yeah, it's like clearly
that's a pimp between jobs.
I was like, clearly you were like running some kind of escort service out of this limousine. Yeah.
Nah, but this kid, I think it was it wasn't Trayvon, it was Trayson, I believe. It was this
Trey Songs.
He was on Snapchat. His name was the Trizzy Trey Show. It was this kid I worked hauling trash with in Ocean City. He was from Atlantic City, and then we were on unemployment, and I was seeing the Snapchats. And he was collecting his unemployment, so he didn't want to work on the books. So he was like, yo, $5, I'll take you anywhere in city limits. Like, he was literally doing, like, hood Uber. Like, and he was getting rides, like, all day long. Like, it was, like, $5 or $10 or, like, something extremely reasonable.
Yeah.
But you just had to stay in AC. So, like,
yeah, like,
dude, that's easy money, especially, like.
It's a stolen car. He's not paying insurance on it.
We were, like, 20, and he already had a kid. Dude.
Nice.
Hood dudes love having kids super young. Dude.
Yeah, man, it's like a rite of passage.
You ever have one of those epiphanies where, like, I know you're, fuck, grab that if you can.
Yeah,
or I can. It's already on the lawn. I'll get it. It's flying
away. What was your epiphany? I'm waiting on pins and needles here.
So, like, I know you're not on social media. Did I knock my phone? What's this supposed to be plugged into? That's my phone charger.
Yeah, you're good. Nothing important. Here, put that under here.
So you're like on social media and you recognize someone you know from IRL.
Yeah, like in pornography.
No, it's like a kid that works at ShopRite.
Oh.
And
rats.
So I'm just creeping on his page, and then I realized his dad is this fucking scumbag dude that I used to work with.
Oh, nice.
And this kid was like 12, or he was young when I knew his dad or whatever, and his dad was having him. They lived by the Acme in Ocean City, and his dad was like a complete sack of shit, like
nice.
Going. He was like, "You ever been in them bad doctors? We go up North Jersey, they give you Percocets.
Give me whatever you want, cock."
And he had like week. He's like, "I'll give you a perk 2.5 for $10," and I'm like, "What? No. I'll just go buy a Tylenol and fucking like I don't know,
get itchy."
Yeah, like, but yeah, this guy's a total sack of shit, and then. Unbeknownst to me, like when I was working Instacart all the time, I was running into this kid at ShopRite all the time and like just exchange niceties in the checkout line, whatever. Yeah. He was a cool kid. And then I just see him on People You May Know on Facebook, which is weird because they just like know your phones are near each other's phones. So now I'm going to put you in People You May Know.
Yeah.
So this kid pops up and I'm just creeping on him. He's young. He looks like he's like 18. He already has a kid. I'm like, damn dude, hood dudes love having kids, dude. But they love having kids early. But they love CPing, but yeah, I'm just creeping on his page, and I forget where the fuck I was going with this. But
hood dudes having young ass kids.
No, I just didn't. Yeah, but I didn't. It's weird when like you just see someone on Facebook and you're like, oh fuck, that's that guy, or like that's that. It was just this weird epiphany of like that's that guy's son. Like all along, like I hate his fucking dad, and now I'm just
now he's a grandpa.
Yeah, and now I'm like chopping it up with him in ShopRite. I have no idea that I hate your fucking dad. Like I used to give your dad rides to work. Like yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where the fuck I was going with that, but it was just this weird, like, I'm looking at their baby shower pictures, and then I see the guy pop up standing with him, and I'm like, he's wearing, like, a Tupac shirt at, like, a formal occasion.
Hell
like,
yeah.
His legs were, like, rotting off. He was super diabetic.
Oh.
he was super diabetic, and he would just eat like sugary hard candies all day long, and like drink like 2 liters of Mountain Dew, and then he'd dump them out and like pour fucking malt liquor in them, and just be driving like a 10-ton trash truck while drinking malt liquor.
That's the kind of, I see exact, like if you close your eyes and were like, describe this man to me, I would be like, yeah, Tupac shirt with purple legs, fucking drinking Crown
big time
Royal.
purple. Like, he peeled back his ace bandages once. I almost fucking fainted,
God.
dude. It was like open sores, dude.
Oh man,
He's like, man, my leg's really hurting, and he's hauling trash, and there's like dumpster juice getting all over his leg bandages, dude.
God damn. Dude.
And he would be drinking, and every day I would have to give him rides because he lived on 34th Street. So like, and like, I don't know, like the bosses just assumed since like I came from Upper, like that I'd be willing to pick this guy up, and like,
yeah.
I don't know what happened. What ended up happening with him is I fucking hated him. He was annoying. He would always try and beg me to drive him to Yesterdays after work. I'm like, this is my first year sober. I'm like, I know your routine. I used to do it, but like, I don't want to take part in it. Your legs are falling off. Like,
being a fucking enabler right here.
But yeah, he fucking, the one time I'm supposed to give him a ride to work, I'm sitting outside. He makes me late. Like, I'm out front of the apartment, like beeping and shit, calling his phone. He doesn't come out, and then I'm late, and then he gets like the boss is calling him, like bitching at him, like, yo, where you at? And he's like, yo, man, like Jake didn't wait for me, like he didn't pick me up, like tried to like throw me under the bus. Yeah, it was like Jake was late, like da da da, like, and I'm already he didn't know that I was already sitting like in the office with them, and they were like, he's here right now. He's saying that like he waited in front of your apartment for like 10 minutes and you didn't come out. And he was like mad at me. Yeah. And I was just like, dude, fuck. I straight up told him, like, I'm never giving him a ride again. Like, I don't care if he has to fucking walk here and his leg falls off. But, like, and then he still tried to, he was just like, I don't, there's a certain type of, like, older, like, boomer drug addict type of dude that's just like, I hate to say it, I love him to death, R.I.P., but Wheelchair Picasso. Yeah. My Uncle Bob had that kind of vibe where it was just like, yo, man, can you give me a cigarette and a favor? Like, no. Fucking do it yourself. Bro. I was always... it was just asking for these weird favors, and you know it was just pertaining to like selling or buying drugs or something like weird. Like, yo, man, my Uncle Bob the one time asked me, and I know he was just trying to buy heroin or pills or something, and he was just like, yo, can we go to my old apartment, the sketchy apartment in Ocean City where known drug dealers definitely lived, or like this, not drug dealer, but this guy he would do drugs with, like another addict, lived there.
Someone that was good.
Yeah, exactly. And
habitual offender.
I took him to a doctor's appointment. He's like, yo, can you take me to my old apartment? My old neighbor said that I had a package that actually accidentally got delivered there. And I was just like,
package of
I
dope?
spazzed. I was like, absolutely not. Like, no, I have to be somewhere. And he got like to the point where he was trying to like manipulate me so hard that he was like tearing up or something. Like, oh, no, I really need this package. And I was just like, bro, I don't care. Like, I just... that like something in me about him like shifted that day where I was like, you're a sack of shit. Like, I get it. I'm not trying to... I don't know. And my aunt probably listens to this. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. But I just remember, like, he's trying to, like, gaslight me into going to, like, score him drugs. And I was just, like, so annoyed because I took my whole afternoon, like, dude, we went to the doctor.
My whole afternoon for him.
We went to like 2 doctor's appointments. And then, like, he was like, which I understood. He was like, yo, I don't get to go out much. Like, can we just take the long way home? So we're in, like, Courthouse. He has me take fucking Route 9 all the way home to, like, EHT. I'm like... all right, he has me stop at like multiple ATMs, a fucking Wawa. He's probably pulling like a Chase scam or something.
Yeah, totally. You're accomplice to a crime here.
I'm like, why do we gotta go to all these ATMs, dude? Seeing which one of my debit cards work.
Yeah, you could do that.
I guess one of them worked, ATM. And he's like, "Yo, bring me to my old apartment."
Yeah,
I got mail there.
I got mail there. I got an envelope filled with some powder that's of a suspicious variety. I better smell it a few times.
But that guy, I don't want to say his name, but this guy I used to work with. We'll just call him Tom. He fucking had that same aura about him. It was just like, yo, man, bring me down to 4th Street. I got to see Ice Dog. And I'm like, who the fuck is Ice Dog?
We're not going
to Ice Dogs, dude. He's like, you don't know Ice Dog, man?
Sounds like a cool cat.
I was just like, no, I don't know Ice Dog.
Fuck's Ice Dog?
He's like, yo, dog, they call me Jaws. They should call you Jawbreaker, you fucking fat bastard.
There's I guess my most exposure to that was in the trailer park because it was that exact thing that you just described. Just imagine like it's 120 slip trailer park, so there's 120 RVs in there. The demographic, if you broke it down, It would be maybe like 15 of those trailers were like families with like kids and shit. I talked about it recently on an app where like a lot of families that I lived around, they would like send their kids to the high school and the dads worked on the oil rig. So they're just like making money hand over fist and like putting it all away for the most part, but like
Living
their kids
pretty cheap.
But yeah, their kids are like living in a trailer with them and then going like across the highway to high school. So like there's like 15 of those maybe. And then I would say the overwhelming vast majority was the exact people you just described, just boomer drug addicts or like full on alcoholics. And they all had like a sob story. They all had a scheme they were running.
That's the worst part is the poor me shit. It's
yeah.
this pity party that like you're just trying to work me over type deal.
Yes,
Like, it's just like, and it could be something for minute. Like they might not necessarily want to be scamming you. Like they just need a ride, but they gotta like hit you.
They're still hitting you with something where it's like, I don't know if I'm getting scammed or not, and I don't want to fucking be a party to this
just
weird
something
emotional
as simple as a favor, like a ride to the liquor store, turns into this like pity party where it's like, man, yo, me and my girl are fighting. Like, you know, I'm really stressed out. Like that.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me you're gonna give me $10. I'll take you to the liquor store. Like, I don't need to hear. The same with panhandlers. It's the same type of vibe.
Yeah.
People that come up to you asking like, oh, I just really want a bus ticket back to New York so I can see like.
You've been on one about them because they've been a lot more present lately, especially Summers Point. I've seen them. There was a lady at the Summers Point Wawa like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. This is when I was still working because I was in Summers Point and like had to like double back and head to work. But I'm in a rush, you know, in my fucking work clothes already. Got to come home, walk the fucking dog, and then head out. This lady like stops me and pretends like she like knows like, you know, me, and like she's like oh, hey Bobby. No, she's like, hey, you're that guy with that that 4Runner, right? I'm like, well, you just saw me pull up in
like,
it. Yeah,
it's right behind me.
Yeah, and she's like, you were the guy that was saying you was gonna give me a ride a couple days ago. I was like, you're full of shit, lady, and just like shoved past her, like not like physically touched her, but like, you know, like we just was like, fuck, no.
I avert eye contact and I'm just like, no thank you.
No, like that's not even. It was just like she didn't press the issue, but she was just trying like so hard to make that association where once she gets the ins,
they get you at the Acme parking lot because there's like a bus stop near there where it's just like they do that same type of deal. Where this one girl was like, can you point me towards Atlantic City? And I just was like,
point directly straight up.
I'm like, you just walked from the bus stop, like, you know, like
you're an idiot. And
she like wouldn't leave me alone. And then some guy was like, yo, he's not giving you a ride, like fuck off. This was like before Vincent was born when I was working DoorDash at the Acme. Yeah, this lady would like, she was like a straight crackhead. Like, just, that parking lot and the Wawa parking lot, like you'll just get like a random fucking tweaker, and it's like, where'd they bus you in from?
Speaking of which, you see that lady walking barefoot down Old Tuckahoe Road yesterday? No. Dude, I must have been out on the road like running errands for like 45 minutes. She walked all the way from like Tyler Road to pretty much like past your mom's house, like kind of near the library, barefoot, holding a fucking jacket.
Holding a baby.
I thought it was a baby at first because I passed her going down, and I'm like, she's got it like kind of like tucked
probably
like
a baby doll she's talking to.
Yeah, but she was like fucking straight up barefoot and looked very dirty, like she'd been living in the woods.
What about have you seen like the Tweaker sisters that walk from like by my mom's down to Dollar General every day? It's like a mother-daughter.
They fucking chain smoke the whole way, the two of them.
So weird.
Yeah, they're
Who are they?
I don't know.
They live in that tarp hut.
Yeah,
where the retarded guy lives.
I know what you're talking about.
The red one.
He was he was walking around today too.
He's a nice guy. He is, and
he used to come in a Mousetrap. He's one of my regulars. He's like nice, but he's very.
Does he drink?
Yeah, like not like as hard as you would think.
I think he's developmentally disabled.
No,
or something.
He is. Yeah.
It's a nice way of me saying retarded. I'm trying to be woke.
But no, he is. He's got something wrong with him, but he's like conversational. Like he was able to order a.
What he does when he walks up by my mom's is he puts everyone's trash cans back in the driveway. Because there's like no shoulder there, so he like takes them out of the road, and he's just like trying to help out.
Yeah.
But like 10 years ago, I was driving through Tuckahoe at like 1 a.m. and he was walking down the shoulder and he stepped out in front of my car.
Holy shit!
He was trying to kill himself.
What the fuck?
And I was like young, like 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. I'm full of piss and vinegar, and like I'm
gonna double back and go around this motherfucker.
No, I doubled back, and like I didn't realize it was a big retarded guy, so I was just like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And I'm like trying to fight him on the side of the road, and then like I get a good look at him, and he just stares right through me with his big retard eyes, and I was just like, I'm gonna leave now. Like he looked, without like knowing he's retarded, he looked like a horror movie character.
Yeah,
like, he was just like,
yeah, he's got a very Sling Blade disposition to him.
And I was like, all right, my bad, dude. And I just left.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's actually a wholesome dude.
No,
like,
he's a very nice guy. Him and a couple of the dudes that do like not garbage picking, but like kind of like salvage and whatnot, like putting it nicely.
Scrapping.
Yeah, scrapping is a little too eloquent for what they do, but
Fuck,
they
I left
used
my tobacco at home.
they used to
Fuck!
they used to come into Mousetrap afterwards and stink to high heaven. Because it's like they'd be like wandering around in the rain for like 4 hours, like pulling copper out of fucking like someone's garbage pile or something, and
Jesus Christ.
like they were nice people. Like I can't say that they were like low maintenance customers. All you want is like people to just hang out at the end of the bar and just kind of talk amongst themselves. But they were always nice. He was nice. Yeah, I do remember him from that 3-month stint over there at Mousetrap.
Wonder why he stopped going.
Well, Mousetrap doesn't exist anymore, and I stopped working there, so he's probably there every day.
He's at Ludlam Island Brewery, just getting hammered.
Yeah, dude. That would be pretty cool. He had a badass eagle jacket on today. He had a denim jacket with an eagle patch on the back. I was like, right on, man. Fucking salute the troops.
I was driving down Summers Point Mays Landing Road, and speaking of retarded wandering men, I saw Neil's
cross
monument thing.
Did they ever figure out who the fuck hit him?
Oh, yeah, that guy got arrested like that day.
Oh, good. Okay.
I think he turned himself in.
Nice.
But yeah, they like took his bike and like spray painted it silver, and then put like some like initials on the ground or something.
You should go put a Blacktooth sticker on it. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I think back on that day sometimes, and I fucking cringe because I'm like, "Hey, you getting this guy on camera? Look at this fucking freak!" Like I'm like,
you weren't that bad. You just kept.
I wasn't, but like when I think about it, I'm like, I was trying to be like slick or coy or something. Like I'm not fucking mic'd and on camera. I'm like, "Yo, you got everyone on camera, right?" Like I was just like being like so.
How
like,
dare you question my professionalism?
Kindly exploitative. Like I wasn't like, yo, get this fucking freak on camera, but I was just like,
you weren't Howard Stern. Oh, speaking of which, Jay got very offended yesterday. I was drawing a parallel to him. I haven't mentioned this on the pod yet, but one of the cool things Jay has recently done is he was on a showcase somewhere. I want to say it was a Stone Dojo. Might have been one of those like basement shows that he does at that other, not Vinny Brand's place, but one of those.
Chalk Zone?
No, not Chalk Zone. But he was doing like a show somewhere, and the headliner was Mike Bichetti, who has been on O&A, and Jay and Bichetti chopped it up for like good 2 hours.
Oh, shit.
And they exchanged niceties and numbers and everything and whatnot. But Jay was like all like, proud of that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he's an accomplished comedian as far as like the scene goes. I mean, he's not like a Netflix special tier comedian, but like he is someone that I know by name. And like, if I was to see him out, I'd be like, hey, that's Bichetti. But like,
he actually is pretty funny too.
Yeah, no, he's hilarious. He's got one of my favorite jokes that he, off the cuff on O&A. They were talking about how they're reducing the amount of plastic they use in water bottles or like the rings or something like that on soda cans. And Bichetti's like, oh, these fucking people are worried about straws getting stuck up turtles' noses for a decade. I had a straw stuck up my nose for 15 years and I turned out okay. Just a great fucking line off the cuff. And yeah, Bichetti's hilarious, but like Jay was like kind of running, like he had like a checklist he was going over, just as like goals and objectives and stuff. And he was like, I want to make a fan page. And I'm like, no, just make a Twitter. And he's like, no, I want to make a fan page. And I'm like, look,
you have to have fans to make a fan page.
You got to have like a following that you cultivate slowly through social media over time to make a fan page a necessity, because like it's cool that you're hanging out with like Mike Bichetti and like some of these other comics, but like just remember that Mike Bichetti is on the tier of like Bobo and Lady Di, and like you're basically Beetlejuice. You are on the same comedic level as Beetlejuice from the Stern Show. He's like, fuck you, I'm funnier than Beetlejuice.
No, you're not.
No,
he's not. It's not.
Beetlejuice is beloved. Like you're acknowledged.
No, he's not.
Just kidding. Jay's doing great.
Beetlejuice is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is very, very funny. Beetlejuice, spell the word zoo. RXDMFJ.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the best.
Beetlejuice. What is 2 + 2?
47.
Now, Beetlejuice, try. Come on, try that again. Take a serious guess.
132.
Bing.
That's first name. Mark it right.
Dude, my favorite. I often. Ian and I will be working in the kitchen by ourselves. I was supposed to do it this season, but we got busy on the last couple of days we were open. But Ian and I listened to the Dumb Off, which is Bob Kelly, Rich Voss, and that intern Francine all having a question and answer. And they ask who was the first man to step on the moon. Bob Kelly and Voss get it right, but then Francine goes Louis Armstrong, the trumpet player, and just like out of nowhere goes, I see rocks of gray. Oh, it kills me. Like, dude, the first time Ian and I listened to that, we had to stop doing prep. We were laughing so hard. We were just standing around hovering around a cell phone, like listening to this shit and dying laughing. Bobo spelling all the countries. He tries to spell the word Korea and he spells it like Kroraea. It's like, yes, Korea.
Why does Jay feel the need to have a fan page? And
Well-
what's the differentiation between just like
We went over it yesterday. It actually is like a pretty smart thing that he wants to do. He just he doesn't have the vocabulary because he's not like us where we're like raised in this. Like, he just uses technology for its like, like he's slowly beginning to understand what like recreational technology use is. So like it's funny
what the
because
fuck is that?
like you have like Facebook and like stuff like that, but like your parents use that because they consider that a legitimate form of like that is on par with like mailing your friends letters and shit like that, or like
Yeah,
sitting in.
it's a tool.
Sitting. I was gonna say proprietary, but I've been using that word a little.
It's
too
the new email. It's
Yeah.
called Facebook.
Well, yeah, so like they have like a different familiarity than we do, where it's like we just go on there because we're bored and like we're
Just want to look at memes and
just want
boobs.
to giggle and boobs and and like
Cats.
your friend that was pregnant lost the baby weight, and then you're like, nice. And, I wonder where she's going this winter for that nice beach vacation, and then you're stalking her for like 3 months. But anyway,
Any bathing suit pics for the kid?
there's that Norman joke too that's so fucking funny. He's like, Facebook's kind of like meeting your girlfriend's family. It's like, I don't want to see your aunt. I want to see you in a bikini. It's like, yeah, spot on. Every now and then I tell Nick at work, shout out Nick Stone, the Stone Zone. Fucking love Nick. I tell him that there's that joke he has about comparing fat chicks to Walmarts, and he's like, Walmarts are, they're kind of nice. They're like a fat chick. It's like, you don't want to be seen in one during the daylight hours, but it's 2 a.m. You're hammered. It's like, hey, glad these things are around. Anyway, Jay he's unfamiliar with like how things work now. Like, he's used to things still being like 2003. Like, he'll
Like
still
an email list or something?
yeah, like a mailing list.
Yeah.
Like, and that was why he like went out and like bought a website off the rip. And I'm like, Jay, like, just use social media. It's like, it's free.
No one's looking up your
nobody's-
.com.
Nobody's looking up your .com unless you like have like a ticket site, or like Norton does, where you have to like go through his .com. He drives traffic to the page because when he takes photos after shows, he posts them all to his website. So I'm like, yeah, smart. But like, Jay doesn't have a kind of shtick like that yet, where he's got like a reason for people to be driving that traffic there. So anyway, what this boils down to is like, I was like, no, like, don't do a fan page. Just do a Twitter and like an Instagram and like a Facebook, and like we're gonna
Just call it like what, Jay Scrocca Comedy? or
yeah,
something like
he's
that?
got his YouTube, or he's got YouTube, and he's got his Facebook already for the comedy. So I'm like, yeah, just like let's branch off that. So he agreed, but like, yeah, there's like some lofty goals that were also on that little breakdown with what he wants to do for 2025. And
HBO special.
I was laughing so hard because it's like, you'd think you have enough material.
Headline Red Rocks.
He's like, you think you have enough material for a 30-minute special? And he's like, well, I got 30 minutes. And I'm like, no, you don't. You, like,
what do you think he's really got right now?
like,
Strong
still like
15, strong 20.
like he's a good middle. Like, he's got 10. He's got 10 strong. He's got one that I'm editing together for him. I'm in the process of
Does he have 30 minutes but 10
No.
strong?
No, like he's got like 15 max. Like, cuz he loses momentum fast, cuz he doesn't treat it like a lot of people I've heard compare it to like running like a marathon or like a boxing match or something like that, where it's
Yeah,
like
you kinda do have to-
your stamina is what's most important.
You got to be like a Nate Diaz, where you got to be like methodical and then just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You
thought
gotta-
he was gonna say Nate Bargatze for a sec, but like, no, you're
You
right.
got to be Nate Diaz. You
yeah.
just got to slur your words.
What the fuck is a gazelle? Dude, yeah, party at my crib. It's gonna be off the fucking hook. Dude, Diaz brothers are awesome.
But I meant you just got to like,
Shout out.
you got to come out swinging, but then
Yeah.
you kind of got to get in your rhythm.
Yeah, that's he.
And it's different than, I hate when like Joey Diaz is like, this comedy and cage fighting are like the same thing. It's an art form. Like, it's like, all right, dude, shut the fuck up.
Chill out.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a comedian, but I'm saying like, yeah, you definitely have
You
to
can
be
tell-
like,
no,
you have to be like measured, and you can't just like burn yourself out in the first round.
That's-
like,
and
you gotta,
that's
like, you gotta
exactly-
make it to the end. You don't gotta like kick it on at the end, but like,
I was actually like, when I get a rough cut of it done, so probably for next app before I like release it for him, we could do like a breakdown of it, because it was exactly that. It's that he has this like closer mentality with every step of what he does, so he knows, like, you know, this is gonna hit here, this is gonna hit here, and he sets himself certain benchmarks. And I'm like teaching him, I'm like, it's not you really being reactionary unless like people start heckling, but you haven't really crossed that bridge yet. You've got some obnoxious people in the crowd so far, but like nothing that's too, you know, like it's completely thrown him off. But what he does is he'll think that like he has to keep hitting the benchmarks in the same rhythm, and I'm like, no, it's got to be a roller coaster. But a roller coaster isn't just, you know, loop up down up down up down. It's like, it's, you know, got curves, and it's like it makes your balls suck into your stomach a little bit. You got to hit him with sucker punches sometimes, and he kind of tried. There's the video is like him trying to do a punch up on a fucking like on like he had a good closing joke, and I'm not gonna just blow it, but like he had a good closing joke, and the closing joke got him the applause where he should have walked off, but he got greedy and tried to like punch like put like 2 more tags on it. The first tag was like the second tag didn't carry it, so everybody's just like, okay, whatever, get off stage, and then he's like, all right, good night, bye. Like
he just ran away, like
it's
normal.
He got saved though. Like the guy was cool. Like he did a good job. Like I'm not, you know, knocking him on that, but he thinks he's like he's got to learn his ins and outs first, because he's a strong middle. He's not a headliner yet. I mean, for like a feature, you know, 15-minute set on the road, he'd crush, and he's trying to do that, which I'm like very proud of him.
That's a good goal though. He's still so green that like,
yeah.
But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with setting high goals, because it's like, reach for the stars, because even if you fail, you'll land on the clouds. But like,
And that'll
quite literally, like it's better to aim high and then kind of like.
Yeah, like just kind of.
Me, I can't do that, because I set lofty goals and then I like beat myself up for not achieving them. Where like I have to set like realistic goals, you know what I mean? But like some people can like flourish by like some people actually have confidence and they can be like, I'm gonna do this. Whereas me, I'm like, I don't know.
No, he's got like a realistic approach to it. I just think it's very funny when he has these like very boomer-esque like moments. It's like, well, why shouldn't I have a mailing list? It's like, because nobody knows who you are. People know who I am. It's like, yeah, you're doing shows for like 30 people at a clip. Like if you were opening for like, you know, 200-seat arenas every other weekend, that'd be one thing. But it's like he's done that once so far, and it's like I still don't know who the guy is exactly. It's like some dude named Joe something or other.
Joe Scrocca.
Yeah, but like he did an opening set, and apparently the guy's got a Netflix special. I'm like, well, like, is it that Netflix approached him, or did he have like an hour and was shopping it around? Netflix agreed to meet him in the middle, cover the costs of it, and he'd recoup it on the back end with royalties and what's it called, residuals and stuff like that. And like I think that's more what it was. So like there's like ways you can get your shit out there if you just have like the right means. He's just not there yet, and like he could in theory, like, you know, pay for, you know, he's got the means to fucking buy a fucking, you know, crew to come and film him do stuff. But I'm like, it would be futile doing that right now, because it wouldn't be good. You'd have to do 3 shows. You'd have to pack every show, even if you're doing like a 30-seat place. Like, are you sure you're going to be able to pack 30 seats every fucking time so that it looks like it's tight? And then I was trying to explain framing to him last night too, because I was showing him how I wanted to edit one of the cuts. And it's like the guy did the right thing. He ran 3 cameras, but there's like a big wall in the front of one of the shots, or it's like a shot from like behind him. So like it's like you see his back and you see the crowd, but there's this like big black wall in the middle of the shot. And I'm like, that just doesn't frame well, because if you want to cut to this, it's like you're not going to see the crowd. Your eyes are just going to be like drawn to this giant void, and like there's a light facing the lens of the camera too. So I'm like, it just doesn't look good. And he's like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, he's like, you can see the people laughing. You can see how many people are there. I'm like, no, you just see this giant black void. And it's like, you were there, so you know there are people there. But it's like, I'm watching this cold, and I could not see any of the fucking people you're talking about. It looks like you're telling jokes to like 4 ghosts and a fucking, like, and a fucking bar sign. Like, it's very silly.
It didn't look right.
It just didn't look right. But he was like, all right, I trust your judgment on this. I trust your judgment. I was like, I don't know. It's very grumbly, but he's getting better.
I feel like he takes your critiques as like an attack.
He does. He takes them well.
Well, then you portray him as taking them personally.
I'm gonna start making them personal. Yeah, you know what? You're not funny.
You suck. You faggot. Fucking loser.
Your meatballs aren't even that good.
It's not a sure thing.
Tell you what, he did make meatballs for family, or well, not family, no, friends.
I don't know why I broke that up with my hands. I was like, yeah, it's a good idea. And now
you
my
look like
hands are
Oscar the
just
goddamn
fucking-
Grouch right now.
and like it was all stemmy and it ripped like every single blunt, so I have to patch every single one.
Yo, I got a pretty good topic actually on deck, and it can move into one of my other topics that are like I have decent notes. Okay, so you're someone that recently purchased a gaming like the iRacing setup, and you have like your sport racing chassis or whatever the hell it's called. Like
yeah, I think fucking broke. I had to repair with 2x4s.
So
but
fucking
anyway,
floor bumper.
I got the cheapest one on fucking Amazon. Now,
Just
I'll
build
let
your
you
own
finish,
app.
but
I'm gonna let you talk.
it's
Taylor.
all fucking bent now, and like the steering wheel thing where it's mounted, it's like this. So then I had to adjust the wheel in the settings. So like, to me, it's cock zero, but the frame of it's like this, so it's just like visually very annoying.
Just
Like,
put a piece of red tape on it, like the pros.
it has the steering wheel center bar on it. Like,
No, I mean
built in.
on the physical wheel.
There's
No,
like
I mean put a new piece that's a different color.
because there's already another bar, and then it'll be. It's only off by like a cunt hair, so like I literally had to manually adjust it. So like, off center is technically my center. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yes.
But it's just been a fucking headache of like I'm constantly adjusting the wooden bars, trying to get it comfortable, and like I sit down and after a little bit I'm like it's not right, and then I'm just back out with the drill. Like I'm spending more time tweaking this fucking budget cockpit than I am actually racing. Anyway. Fucking don't order the GT Lite Pro off fucking Amazon. It's the cheapest one, and it's the cheapest one for a reason.
So this is exactly where I wanted to go with this. So I know we've kind of like touched on this before, but like I really want to break it down because I got into a very interesting discussion with several of my peers on 4chan yesterday about why there's like an argument right now in certain female social media communities about like if you have logged over 200 hours playing a video game, it should be synonymous with like a girl going on like 200 dates. And
Shut the fuck
and they're
up.
not equating it to body count, because body count's like one thing, but it's like it's like dating around, like a girl that will go on
It's
multiple
nowhere.
dates.
It's not even comparable.
Well, this is what I want to break down with you. So, do you consider
Hanging out with your bros online is not the same as going on dates with chicks.
Okay, listen. So, it's not a girl or a guy thing at this point. What the thesis? Let's get back to the thesis. Do you think that? And like I understand that the parallel isn't really like great, but like from the perspective of somebody who has made a pretty substantial investment in this gaming setup and whatnot, do you feel that your life is more enriched or less enriched by playing video games, and would it give you in any way, shape, or form like a leg up in future endeavors, spending the amount of time that you've spent on it?
This is different. It's not a video game. It's a simulator.
No, I understand. I'm genuinely curious.
The only way this benefits me is like, say I run the dirt car sim, and then eventually I get into running like micros or go-karts again. Like it could be viewed as like a training tool for racing. I do feel it's enriched my life. It is a video game. It's not the same as me going and renting a go-kart for an hour at Atlantic City, but it does help scratch that racing itch, and I enjoy it. And so I guess I've gotten some enrichment out of it. It's like, it's currently the new hobby like dirt biking was, or motorcycles, or this or that, but it's the current flavor of the week, and I look forward to doing it every night after the kids go to bed. So I've gotten some enrichment out of it, and if I ever were to get back on the dirt track, it could be viewed as like a training tool, but as of now it's just a hobby, and I don't see anything wrong with that. What was the question again exactly?
No, that's it. Like, does it benefit your life, and does it in the long run give you anything? Like, do you feel like it's going to give you a leg up in anything in like a future endeavor, or like possibly like if you actually make a transition into racing actual
it
vehicles?
could give me a leg up in racing if
Okay.
I were to ever go racing again. It's definitely a helpful. It's not like the same as practicing on a track or something, but like, I mean, the pros use the sim, so it's like it's totally a viable training tool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that I'm ever going to be racing. Like,
No,
you know what I mean?
but I get
Like
where
a
you're
pro, but
no,
like-
I get where you're coming from with that though. That it is something where it's like you can't always be at.
But
the
I
track
wouldn't
20
equate that to like if I wanted to play like semi-pro Amanda's Field football. Playing Madden all day isn't really like training, but like this is like.
Okay.
I don't
Alright.
know. I could see the argument for like, as I was gonna say, this is like if I'm playing NASCAR Heat and I'm just playing with an Xbox controller, that's really just a waste of time. There's no.
So the reason that the argument was like hypothesized like that way, and that like girls are getting resentful that guys spend more time playing video games than they do going on dates, but like at the same time they try to turn it around where it's like, well, it's not that like gaming is a hobby. Gaming has like actually been reappropriated by many circles as like somewhat of a lifestyle, regardless of gender, like male or female. But like women that don't participate in gaming are saying that like a lifestyle choice would also be like, you know, not promiscuity, but like dating around. And like that would be something where it's like they take the exact same investment of time and energy, even though it might be kind of futile and like the date might not lead to anything greater than that, but it is like a hobby of theirs. So like a
hobby.
Yeah, like a parallel.
Plowed by randos is a hobby.
Well, like the date, not necessarily what like becomes that. But
shut up, you dumb
that's
whores.
well, okay. So like
so the free meals are your hobby.
Hey, look. So like, what is it? What I think the parallel is that like they're saying too is that like a date in essence, like from a girl's perspective, isn't necessarily always going to result in something that enriches your life, but it could. Much like you're saying that like, you know, this might not lead you to a professional race car career,
but it could lead me to set quick time at the Lucky Snake.
There you go. Like, I mean, all right. So like, can we at least agree on that? Like that basis of grounding that like, you know, if you could kind of see the other side's perspective. It's not like agreeable, but you at least kind of understand where.
No, I can't see it at all.
All right,
it's dumb as shit I've ever heard.
Like I agree. It's kind of a nuance, like a kind of contrived.
No,
point
it's just whore logic being like, you play video games, I'm not a whore. It's like, well, those two things aren't related.
Well,
but.
so like here's like where I'm going with this. So, is it? Do you think that dating, much like do you think video games, to society as a whole, encompassing what I just said, for both gaming and dating from those perspectives, do you think those are both detrimental or supplemental to society? Do you think that there is a necessity for dating around in excess, much like do you think that there is a necessity for video games to like relieve stress or like, you know, enact like
I don't think either are a necessity.
Okay, that's kind of the point with where I'm coming from. Like I kind of actually think that it's more detrimental in both regards. Like I
especially take iRacing out of it. Just like me playing Chell, like that's a waste of time.
Yes.
You going on dates. I guess I'd see dating is more viable is like trying to find someone to settle down with versus like. I love video games, but it is a complete time suck. It's along the lines of Facebook Reels, or it's just it's fun, but it's.
I think like where they kind of have a crux is they're both egotistical masturbation. Where like in a video game, it's like you aren't like the most like you don't take it as seriously as others. Like, but I know you take
guys who are in like Call of Duty leagues and stuff like that, who are like socializing while doing it, and like they're getting.
Like I know you get a little dopamine rush when you get that like end of race report where it's like Jake Seymour takes it down at Talladega.
Oh,
like
my heart's beating.
I'm sure like that's fine.
Rogan's talked about that where it's like this fake reward system.
Well,
right?
yeah,
it enables like your
dopamine receptors
of like accomplishing
serotonin.
tasks, but you're really not accomplishing anything.
So yeah, that's like kind of the parallel. Like, is that like going on dates excessively without like you're really being an end goal or like an objective? Is it's like an ego stroke? You just want to be told you're pretty and you want to be treated to food. And
you get the rush of
much like guys,
the butterflies of meeting the new person,
and much like the when you win a race or like you squad wipe or something like that in Battlefield. It's like you have this like sense of accomplishment. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is just egotistical. Like you're doing something for a self-satisfying thing. And I'm not saying that everything comes back to like we need to perpetuate society or anything on the backs of this shit, but it does. The observation that I found to be where like I find it funny and everything is that like there's a lot of people that get like hyper defensive about video games being their hobby. And I mean, I'm not gonna make fun of somebody for having video games as a hobby. I just don't think it's it's not my hobby. I don't play video games for the most part. The most you'll see me play is going and dropping like $2 on pinball at Jilly's, and that's like a fucking treat, but I make like an afternoon out of that.
I go in spurts where I didn't even fire up my Xbox for like since I met Tina. It'd been like 3 years. Where I used to play Chell all the time. And I think video games honestly were like a hindrance to me because I would play Chell for like 10 hours a day. And like I was ranked like 600 in the world. I was like, I was ranked really high at one point, and it was just like, this is meaningless. Like I'm never going to get paid for like beating people on fucking NHL. I'm like, I don't know.
what else is like? You extrapolate further.
But now I don't know.
Yeah, what it is.
I feel like it's one of those like not everything in moderation, but like I don't know. As long as you're not like.
Well, just
if you work all day and you get home and you play Xbox for an hour or two, like I don't know, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's no different to me than watching television, but at the same time, understanding television, you're making like a contract with like yourself, not like a contract, but not that serious, but like you are making an agreement, I guess, with yourself that it's like if this is the activity I'm doing, I'm getting very little done. I mean, the most you might do is like maybe some like answer an email or like do something in the background. Most of the time, I'm gambling while I'm watching television, so like I'm not saying that that's.
At a certain point, you're not even watching. You just like have it on.
It's just on at like so like I don't know. There's like games like that too where like I know a lot of people just like hang out and talk on like Steam or Discord or whatever while they're like in the lobby. Like I used to watch James play not World of Warcraft. I used to watch him and his clan fucking get ready for raids, and I'd hop on their Discord and listen to them all talk. And I'd just be sitting there playing fucking poker and shit, and they're like, talking about.
It's fun to be in a party chat.
It is, and it's like, it's just pleasant. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, what are we really doing here, boys? Like this is, this is nice. This is pleasant hearing from all of you guys, but this isn't really socializing. This is like something.
It's not, and I play video games to not socialize. Like I used to literally when I would be on Xbox. I'm on live or whatever, I would appear offline. Because it's like, if I have like a buddy like Jan or Timmy text me and be like, yo, you want to play? Like, okay. But like, I would hate when you're like appearing online and all of a sudden it's like, ba-ding! Yo, this kid from high school you haven't talked to in 5 years wants to join a chat.
Yo, can I get $40?
No, it's just like they're trying to add you to a party and then you get in and they're just like, yo.
Yo, long time no see, dog.
It's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I like, there's two things I like doing alone. It's riding motorcycles and it's gaming. No, I don't like to do that alone. But no, I'm always getting like, I'm so popular that I'm always getting people hit me up like, yo, let's go for a ride together. It's just like, yeah, I'm not against it, but it's just, I like to go ride and clear my head and like just be by myself. Like I don't want to ride in a group of guys. I don't want to play video games with a group of guys. It is like masturbating. I just want to do it alone.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
In the privacy of my own home. Like I don't know where I'm going with any of this. I feel like
You've been rambling.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I got a Sugar Hill sub. I'm fucking fired up.
It was way too sweet for you. Actually, one thing I would like to circle back to that's funny is, not funny, I guess more like kind of like, well, that makes sense. Allison, shout out, was telling me this week at work that their diabetes and Alzheimer's might be correlated.
They are.
Well, did you know that they're apparently already in the process of making diabetes type 3 a precursor to Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
I had no idea because like my grandfather had it, and I think I stopped reading up on the subject back in like 2008 or whatever, because it was like, yeah, there's a pretty good chance Grandpa's never coming back from that. And he was, but like it made me wonder, like I wonder if like him having a sweet tooth his whole life.
100%.
Yeah, like it just that boggled my mind. There's so many people I know that have that or are affected by that, and it's like, well,
and they're a notorious sweet tooth.
How much sugar you put in your
grandma.
Coffee? How much fucking sweets are you sneaking? Between meals? Like, yeah.
My grandma used to wake up in the middle of the night. She was drunk most of her life.
Nice.
And then I think this is where the sugar addiction came from, because like when she stopped drinking as much, she would wake up and just like eat Tasty Cakes in the middle of the night and then like, go back to bed. And then her brain like rotted out of her head. So, but no, shout out to Dr. Ken Berry. He's like a fucking keto carnivore freak on YouTube and like all that type of crowd. When I first got into keto and I was actually looking good and I was skinny and I was into all of this like, low carb fucking sugar's bad. There's tons of research on Alzheimer's and insulin resistance and all that, those buzzwords, you know what I mean? Which,
apparently your blood fat has like platelets or something in it, and you're like, the more blood fat you have and the less insulin you have, there's like resistance to the platelets or something like that from like building up.
What do they think causes it now? Is
it's like
cholesterol? Not the type 3 thing, but like, what is the generic, before any of the sugar concerns came in, what was the generic answer for what causes Alzheimer's? Because I know they'd say like the thickening of the arteries in the brain.
Well, there was like it was like correlated a lot with like stroke victims. So it was like if you have like bad blood flow or like low blood platelet count or something like that, where you're like basically your heart isn't pumping enough blood to your brain and your other external like extremities and whatnot, like you have like a higher likelihood of having a stroke. But like apparently like the new kind of like approach to that is not only is it like that, but if you have like a certain amount of cholesterol and like blood fat, that insulin isn't like kind of regulating. There's like these like platelets that build in your brain, like the arteries in your brain over time, and they basically will cause the buildup in your brain of equivalent to like having a stroke, but like slow. It's slower. It's not like as like sudden and rapid. It's like you will like slowly be smothering your brain from or depriving your brain of like good blood. It's like that, and like there's like a couple of other things that she like mentioned, but like that was pretty much the gist of it. It was like, yeah, like the more bad fat you have in your blood, the more bad cholesterol you have, the less insulin is gonna, you know, kind of do its thing, and you're gonna get resistance, you know, and it's gonna pool in places where it's like the furthest from your heart. So like, you know, your feet rot off, your fingers rot off, but like your brain is also, it requires a lot of blood to make that thing work, you know, like. I don't know, it makes sense to me. I would have never come to this conclusion on my own, but it was like, now this is kind of revelatory. Like, everyone in my family that's had it had some form of, like, sweet tooth, you know, or diabetes outright, you know?
Yeah, sugar and stuff like that's bad in excess. I get envious. I've been such a fat kid lately. I'm trying to, like, eat my way out of depression. It's just making it worse. Like, I'm eating, like, cake at 1 a.m. And I'm
Sweet.
like, what am I doing, dude? I'm guzzling milk out of the gallon, like, just
there
in
you
my
go.
underwear in the kitchen, just fucking.
It looks good for you.
Not with a cake the size of a softball.
That's even better for you. That's what makes it mushy.
I sleep like a fucking baby, but
dude, I ate too many Oreos
I've been
last
so
night.
bad.
I
I've been
shit
so
like a
bad.
fucking softball that was like just like fucking jet black. It was just a pile, but like it looked like a boob in the
This
toilet.
is
Shit Tooth podcast.
This is my son. He was shoving Oreos in his mouth like a lot. Let me find it. And he looked like a Billie Eilish music video, with, like the black drip coming out of the eyeballs.
Oh my god, yeah. He looks like Danzig.
He literally put like 8 mini Oreos in. Like he took the bag of mini Oreos and he just shoved them in one by one. And we were like, what the fuck? Like we were both like trying to intervene. He's just like fucking wolfing them. And then like a minute later he's like and this chokes out this big blob of Oreo on the ground. I'm like, dude, why did you put 17 Oreos in your mouth? I know you listening and be like, you're a bad parent. You shouldn't have let him do that. Well,
I was going to let him have the whole bag.
You're right. I was probably watching Facebook Reels, but it's parenting nowadays. No, but yeah, what made her look into the
Well, she's in med school right now, so like
Okay.
she's got to identify things on X-rays, and that's like I guess one of the approaches now for certain radiology like practices. I guess
you mentioned cholesterol being associated with it.
Yeah, well, I think it's blood fat. I know blood fat and cholesterol, they're not the same thing, but they're correlated.
Cholesterol's a myth.
I don't know about that.
It
I think that
Keto is good for you. You should drink a butter smoothie every morning.
I'm not opposed to that. I think there's like a thing about mobility and cholesterol that go hand in hand, where it's like if you stay active enough and you're not like just like sitting on your fat ass all day, you can have like butter and like natural fat as much as you really realistically want without
Well,
it.
there's a difference in fats. You can have like beef tallow, butter, real things, but when you get into those polyunsaturated fatty, like the PUFAs,
Yeah,
apparently that's the stuff that's bad for you. The seed oils,
yeah,
and that's what everything's fried in and like what everything's made with. So it's like
yeah.
there is this movement of going back to like beef tallow and butter and just natural fats. Which
I heard
apparently fat isn't the enemy. It's just
No,
like,
it
it's
was
like
the
lard
90s.
oil.
The
and
90s. The 90s. There was
even
a
before that.
No, it was
the
a-
low fat movement.
well, the low fat movement was like the 70s. I think is like when
they
things
introduced
started.
Crisco, which
Yeah.
was literally a petroleum byproduct that they marketed
Yes.
as like a food product.
Was that the one that was like similar to Sharpies or whatever? It's like there's like some like cooking. It might be Olestra. I forget what it is, but it's like you know like how Sharpies have that like smell.
Yeah.
It's like like some like cooking product or something like that was like introduced probably like when we were children.
Smells like markers.
It's not that it smells like markers, but it's like they like figured out like what actual nutrition is in it because it was like an artificial like oil or butter or something, and it's like, oh, this is basically like what the like concentrated version of this is what makes like Sharpie smell like that bad. It's like some plastic.
Some byproduct.
Yeah,
that
it's
they're
like
just selling.
Yeah, well, it's
That's what they apparently with fluoride, with what they fluoridate the water with. That apparently that's a byproduct of some like fertilizer product or something like that, where they're just killing two birds with
keeping
one
me
stone.
fertile.
Nah, they're just like, hey, we would normally throw this out, but we can sell this to local governments and like tell them it'll fix their teeth, and then like
That's yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
I'm too tinfoil to talk with someone in med school because I'm just gonna be like,
no, she's
doctors aren't real.
No, she's
They're
more
stupid.
of a, she's more of a. She listens to Alex Jones, so like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I want to have her on. I just don't want her to ruin her fucking career.
Yeah, don't come on.
Yeah, like, same with Casey. But no, like AP, shout out.
Have you heard Joe talk about women? You want to come on here?
She's the best. She's the only woman that keeps me in fucking check because she can beat the shit out of me. This one time we were at work and I was horsing around with her because like she does Krav Maga and BJJ and shit. So she like knows how to like throw a fucking punch.
What about BBJ?
She got dropped.
No, BBBJ.
Yeah, big black
Bareback blowjob.
Oh, okay. Male.
Did she do GFE?
No.
Did she do Greek?
Yes.
Nice.
She checks oils real well. No,
Sorry.
but she like got dropped on her head and had a concussion because like some giant like 6'2" black dude and her like she's like 90 pounds soaking wet and literally fucking was like sparring with this fucking giant black man and the guy picked her up by her ankle and just like threw her and she landed on her head and had a concussion for like 2 weeks.
No comment.
Yeah, so
I ain't touching that one.
So yeah, she's like she's a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist too, which is why
she's the perfect person to go into medicine then.
Yeah, exactly. She's like one of the good ones
That's
on the
a doctor
inside.
you want.
Yeah.
You don't want some guy who's just coming off a fucking Pfizer meeting being like, you need to take Qelbree. What's with this new ADHD fucking push?
It's been here for years.
But I okay. I guess like
Lay it on me, babe.
it's just it's more so like if it's just my algorithm or what it is, but it's constant barrage of ADHD medicine.
Well, probably because you have
advertisements.
ADHD.
I don't think it's a thing. I think ADHD is like a consequence of the constant stimulation from social media and from these things. Because I don't think I had ADHD before. I just think I'm retarded now from TikTok brain rot. Yes.
No, I agree with that.
Every day I get ads for this product called Qelbree. It's QELBREE. It's just a non-stimulant ADHD medicine.
They take all the fun stuff out of it.
Yeah, if I can't fucking do it and get drunk.
meth.
I want to give me the goods, but it's just some like hot blonde chick being like, yeah, I couldn't focus, and then like I took Qelbree and I just found it works for me, and we just really need to remove the stigma when it comes to, and it's like, what is, like, you all don't have ADHD and autism. Like, it's just this new thing of like adults being like, I have adult diagnosed autism. It's like, no, you're just socially weird because like me, you grew up socializing on AIM and MySpace. We weren't like, yes, we were more in the real world than the current kids, but it's just like, I learned how to talk to chicks on AIM. That's why I suck at it now. It's just like, and I'm not mad at it. It's just it's like, I'm not retarded. It's just, I'm a little retarded.
Yes, you are. Shut up. Don't try and backpedal on that.
No, it's just this.
I'm retarded too.
I don't know if it's like a victim mentality thing or what it is. It's just people want like a diagnosis, and it's like they'll even, and I'm guilty of it, of diagnose myself, but like people will mental health diagnose themselves. It's like, I have ADHD and like I'm a little manic with a touch of BPD. It's just like, even if you got diagnosed, so like my feeling on like mental health therapists or psychologists or whatever, I feel like you could go to like 4 different ones and you get a different diagnosis at every single one.
Probably.
Within reason. I'm not going to be like crazy, but like,
you're gay.
I just feel like it's a fucking crock of shit because like I had a friend who one guy was like, oh, you have BPD, and then the next guy was like, you don't have it, and then like one family member's like, no, you definitely do, and then like another family member's like, no, you don't have that. And it's just like, I feel like mental health diagnoses are such a gray area where it's not like you could take a blood panel and
gray matter.
You know what I'm saying though?
No, I do.
It's like it's like discretion. It's a discretion call, and I feel like it's fallible as fuck.
Well,
like,
no, you're describing a pseudoscience, and we need to come to terms with the fact that most healthcare professionals in the psychology or psychologist realm are pseudoscientists. They are alchemists. They are people that, if they're of one camp, they're there to peddle pills, and the only reason that they exist is because they are a drug dealer. That's what half of brain doctors are. Not like surgeons. I'm talking like psychologists and shit. That is what half of them are.
Yeah.
They're there to basically give people the means to get hooked on Xanax, get them hooked on antidepressants and SSRIs. Then the other half is there where there are the soft medicines, and the soft medicines are where I kind of draw the line as far as reliability and trustworthiness, because I always think that there's an ulterior motive for them to push some weird, like, kind of hippie, crunchy
what's
idea.
a soft medicine?
I forget which is which, but there's a distinction between psychologist and psychiatrist. One can diagnose and give you pills.
I think psychiatry can give narcotics.
And then psychology is like the study of the brain or whatever, but it's like you're just
They
a
can give you,
soft
like,
science.
SSRIs, they can't give you narcotics.
No, they can't. They can give you it's like nothing that's habit forming, if I'm not mistaken. It's like nothing that has like proven habit forming. I think SSRIs do fall into that. This is one that James knows this shit because he took some psychology class in college. He always used to blow my mind. He's like, barbiturates and fucking dissociatives are actually two different things. I was like, yeah, I have no idea. It's just yellow and it was like a triangle, so I took it and then I shit myself and fell asleep in the fucking bathroom.
I think all that shit's garbage.
But yeah, like the psychology is I would say the worst of it, because you don't even have like the release of what you're looking for. They're just there to try and keep you looped in, much like the same drug dealer is. You could go to that psychologist or psychiatrist as many times as you need to, or you could go there till you get the maximum number of days with that shrink till you get your pills, or you could go to a soft medicine person who it's like their job is there is no pill end game. It's like they just want to keep you coming back, so they're gonna fuck with you and do stuff and make you feel ways that you probably don't actually feel, but they claim that they're evoking it out of you because that is their approach to the human mind. And it's like, what they really don't like you pointing out is that people are chaotic apes. I don't mean to get really Joe Rogan on this, but it's like there are a lot of fucking people who just snap for seemingly no fucking reason. It could be a mixture of the stimuli around them, the environment around them, the people around them.
Back to the Alzheimer's, but apparently stuff in the food.
Yeah.
Like just unregulated blood sugars and stuff like that, where not causes someone to shoot up a school, but it causes anxiety, depression, mood swings, all these things.
There is
like,
soy,
you know what I mean?
which there's soy in almost everything.
Look at my tits.
Well,
There's fucking soy in something.
There's soy in a lot of, like, almost everything nowadays, and it's like soy has been proven to create a hormonal change in men because it has estrogen in it. It releases your...
I grew up in a house where my mom made soy candles for a living. I fucking grew tits. Like, what the fuck, dude?
So, like... There's like, it might not be outright the direct correlation, but you're absolutely right, where it's like, yeah, he might have been drinking too much Silk and then, like, you know, got a gun and shot himself. Like, that's something that is entirely, it's
not as much of an extreme, but they just have horrible hormone issues, and then they're emotional and stuff like that,
and
like,
irrational, you know. But like that, what it comes back to on that, I just have always kind of thought that if you have a degree in something where you and everybody in your circle of doctors that, like, your peers or whatever, like your like equivalents, like your
peers,
but like people that like scrutinize each other, like in a doctorate, you know, like whatever, you know, like, so if anybody could just at any given point arbitrarily like pick a hole in something that you've done, like your whole approach to it, and then half of their friends are like, yeah, we discredited it, that's not a real science. There's nothing real about that, because that's what happens a lot, and that's why you keep seeing...
They have to, like, play ball to stay and keep their license, and even with medical doctors, that happens.
Well, medical doctors are a different story, because they at least have some scientific basis for it. Now, I told you that one of my favorite clips before Crowder went off the deep end was him and Not Gay Jared submitted, like, 100 fucking doctoral theses to, like, Harvard or Yale or something like that, and, like, 80% of them got accepted, and it was all just them changing quotes from Mein Kampf to every time it was either Jews or communists, they were changing it to men. And these, like, feminist science professors approved every single one of them. And then when they, like, pulled the wool over it, it was like they got, like, straight up, like, a lawsuit on their hands from those institutions, because it proved that, like, there is no basis. Like, science at least has a basis. Like, you look, like,
the truth is the truth.
It's empirical when you're like, I'm a physicist, describe how gravity works. Okay, you just
black
proved
and white.
You just proved gravity works. Okay,
it's not a matter of opinion.
You're a phlebotomist. What does it mean when your blood counts are this? Okay, well, there's like an agreed basis for everything. Psychology is just this, like, moving goalposts, fucking emotionally laden thing.
What's the buzzword of this?
Remember how it was like, it used to be called shell shock, and then it was called post traumatic stress disorder, and then it was called, like, you know, you're gonna come up with another fucking way of, like, you know, twisting it.
And now they just call it PTS.
Yeah,
they took the D off because
it's not a disorder.
Disorder is offensive.
Yeah, it's offensive. You could ruin somebody's day by calling their trauma.
It's not an order. Like, it's
It's not organized.
You know what I mean?
They're not ordering enough fucking
It's-
DoorDash, I'll tell you that much.
Fucking the softening of words in the current climate, the current social climate. It's so gay.
If you really like this idea of like this notion that like they have to soften vocabulary, I'm telling you, sit down and watch Full Metal Jacket. That whole movie is about vocabulary and how the military has to keep changing things, and like how what you say is not really indicative of what you do, but like you have to have these like fucking phrases and catchwords, like, you know, buzzwords and catchphrases and shit like that are all like correlated so that you can keep people's like the people's opinion on your side. And it's like, it's not that you're trying to tell people the truth, you're just trying to get them to agree with you so you can keep doing what you're doing. And that's, you can see that in every corner of the fucking media these days. That's it, I'm out. I'm going pee.
All right.
Mic drop.
Olivia Soprano voice. It's nothing but a racket for the Jews.
Yo, look at what I sent you. There's a good meme on there. It's the Johnny Sacks greatest hits, and it's like, dude, don't feel luck.
Was it the album cover or whatever?
Yeah.
I saw that. I've seen that one before.
They're fucking funny.
All right. I'll hold off on the NASCAR segment.
Also, the eggplant getting beaten by a police baton was pretty funny too. That made me giggle.
So we got Johnny Sack's greatest hits. 1. I remember when you used to wait in the car. What, I gotta stand here being threatened now? If I find out you're lying to me, it's undignified.
That's the one.
Is it all about money? So I throw him $1 million, he can fuck her? I'll tax him good, John. 400,000. 400,000. Is there no honor anymore? He can give me $1 million, he can fuck her? Anyway, sorry, I butchered the first time.
That's why I wanted you to read this, because I knew you would do every single one.
Speak. That's how I used to answer the phone. Have I ever asked you to be thin? When he catches fucking Ginny eating fucking candy in the basement? I thought you were on the Atkins! You said you were gonna quit smoking, John! Nicotine is an addictive substance!
She's like eating M&M's.
This is one I can't think of off the top of my head. Let me buy you a drink. I can't picture that one for some reason. 8, pills are a lot easier. I forget what that is. 9, I want satisfaction. I believe that's when he's asking to kill Ralph for making the mole joke on his wife's. Ginny Sack got a 90-pound mole removed from her ass. You lied to me! That's also related to the candy scene where he's like, I thought you were on the Atkins.
I thought you was on the Atkins.
I thought you were eating fruit salad. You lied to me. What is this, the Inquisition? That's some sit down where I forget.
Yeah, that's where New York comes over.
More
right?
creative than Spielberg. I don't remember that
More
one
creative
either.
than fucking Spielberg.
I don't remember that line specifically. You were watching The Sopranos?
No, it was on. There was a thread. There was that
Oh.
thread. I linked you to it.
I thought we were looking at Carmela's tits.
No, look at that. They're right in the back.
Yeah, I noticed stuff
Yeah.
like that. I never noticed that one. but
Yeah.
I have noticed things
Season 3, I believe that's from.
throughout the series.
But well, there was. It was really interesting. It was just like a thread. Like you can pull the thread up if you want, because there is just like little like nitpicky like shout outs to the occult. Like there's one that they were saying season 3, episode 3. There's like something at 33 minutes. But they're also like they think that that's just like people that are like, we want, you know, schizos to kind of like get invested in this show and think that there's like deeper meaning where there's not, but it will be good for like, you know, people like spouting off about this like in whatever, like, because this was like early internet days, like, you know, message boards and forums and shit like that. I think like that was like the end game of that, because they still do that shit. But I don't know. It was interesting. It was like a good read. You'd probably enjoy that while you're on a shitter or like waiting for iRacing to load.
Yeah, there's stuff in here that I remember in the first list there, and some of them I'm like the one it's like Big Pussy says Richie gives off negative energies. It's like,
Well, they keep equating the one that I vaguely remember. This is, you remember when Paulie and Chrissy are at the Bing for some reason, and Chrissy
satanic magic.
they were like like disposing of a body or something like
sees
that, but then one of them sees the Virgin Mary,
Paulie.
but then
that creepy music in the background.
yeah, and then like there's a moment where it's like the lighting and everything. The guy pointed out. I was like, I do remember that scene just kind of like lingers for a little while, where it's like Chrissy in the fucking dressing room or whatever, and the light changes like he's about to see the Virgin Mary, but it doesn't happen. And it's like they're like, is that like them saying that like his soul isn't like worthy or whatever of like getting into heaven because he's done so much like dirt and like shitty stuff?
Well, there's like, it's it's like GTA side quests. The amount
Dude,
of different analogies you can make about just a line in The Sopranos, let alone like different scenes, and like there's so many different rabbit holes you can go on. A lot of them on YouTube suck, where it's just like some AI robot voice reading someone's text. Like
back in the 1990s, there was a sitcom that was originally supposed to air on Comedy Central, and it was readapted into the script for The Sopranos on HBO.
those ones are so annoying.
So
But
fucking gay.
there's a ton of good stuff out there. I don't know how much stock I even put in stuff like that, where it's
This was more just fun. For me.
it's
I was
a
enjoying
fun like side read, but like I go back and forth where it's just like.
Is there Masonic symbolism in my
There probably
fucking
is, but like I'm at the point now where it's just like, who the fuck cares? Like, what am I gonna do?
I
about it?
do.
I'm gonna break up the film industry. Like,
It's already
it doesn't even
breaking
concern
up.
me. Nah, it's just like it doesn't even concern me. I don't. It's not like I'm being ostracized from this industry because I'm not one of them. Like, it just. I used to be so like paranoid, like where I would just be constantly seeing triangles and shit, and it's just like. Okay, they're there. Like what? Like okay. Like who cares? Like it's just, I don't know.
I
Just
do.
how I'm feeling today. Where
Well,
I'm just
let's
like,
just
it's
give
fucking
it 4
pointless.
hours to get another fucking
Oh,
blunt in. You're gonna be
100%.
like, "There's so many triangles. I didn't realize that the fucking coffee shop that was trying to move in is supposed to be Starbucks. Their logo is a triangle."
Oh, I did realize that. That's one of them that I couldn't think of off the top of my head, but I totally realized that
Yeah.
one when I did it, and I'm like,
So like,
Starbucks is in the Illuminati. Dude.
yeah, well, like there's just these like fucking dumb things that it's like you see them and you're like, I know that these are done. Like they had any television show where you see something after working in that industry, you know that it's like if it's on screen, it was put there deliberately. Maybe not like always with the most
Yeah.
intention. Like not everybody's trying to be Stanley Kubrick with the symbolism and iconography and stuff, but there is like a distinction of like if you have something and it's going into this show, it's got to look a certain way, so they have to put a lot of due diligence into like making stuff look aged correctly and like making sure that it's like, okay, this is supposed to be 1979. Well, they didn't have microwaves with plates in 1979. Everything just sat still, so we need to go get a microwave that doesn't like dumb little nitpicky shit like that is always like, okay, that's in the front of my mind, like as just for correctness there's this. But then when you see an upside down star with a circle around it, it's clearly a pentagram on the fly swatter in Pee-wee's Playhouse, it's like, what the fuck is that?
That wasn't just a random prop.
Yeah,
that,
like
you know
it's
what I mean?
put there with intent, and like you're like, yeah, it might have just been what's lying around, but like,
They're hiding it in plain sight. But it's
why
just
is it upside down?
like, what does it even matter? Like,
It's not that it doesn't matter or anything. It's like more just I think that
what is the point of the symbolism? Is it just to? So, what's the current understand? Is it like, oh, they're rubbing it in our face or something? Like they're showing off, or like what? Like you know what I mean? Why is it like throwing a gang sign or something? Like
Yeah, I actually do think that throwing a gang sign is a good way of putting it. I was gonna say it's
just
more
them
like
being
a dog
like-
whistle, but I think it is like a gang sign where it's something to provoke those that aren't involved, and then the ones that are involved get to see the reactions of those that aren't involved, because it's like,
so you think like, oh, there's that upside down Satan star, and then like the Jews or whatever, the other conglomerate of Illuminati elite people are like, yo, we gotta throw a fucking Jew star in our show, and like, is it like that where they're just throwing their symbol around like bragging?
Think about like this. It's not like a territorial thing. Like think of it like you're in the club or you're out of the club, and it's as simple as that. You either in or you're out. Those that are in are like in on the joke. They understand like this is it could be as simple as, hey, watch this, we're gonna make a bunch of idiots on the internet go crazy for like 2 weeks. Could be something as like cheeky as that, or it could be like, I legitimately think that like Satan is like the Lord or whatever, and I need to include the iconography of my God in the work that I do. Because there are people like Kenneth Anger. I know that's a deep cut, you don't know who that is, but he was a filmmaker in like the 60s and 70s. He used to make a lot of Nazi themed movies, but like he was doing
Sick.
it, well, no, he was doing it in a way that made the Nazis like gay and flamboyant, and like really embraced this like aesthetic, because it was like a certain like, yeah, there was like a peripheral evil about it, but like he thought by like undermining it and making like the Nazis like gay and flamboyant, that you could like somehow reappropriate that evil into something more like, and this is like his philosophy. So then like by the 70s he was like outright having like full on MGM lot sets like made into like Lucifer's mouth with like a flowing like river of lava,
Blood.
and like people are like sacrificing, pretending to sacrifice goats.
Cakes that look like bodies and
No,
shit.
this is no, like look up Kenneth Anger. You'll look at it and be like, I know exactly where you're coming from with this. Where it's like this is done deliberately because it's going to evoke a response.
Is it like shock jockey or
Yeah,
whatever, like
exact-
death metal or something like that?
No, Kenneth Anger legitimately believed this stuff, but it was like I think a lot of the studio heads were just like, "Hey, this is weird. We'll put it on screen. Like, fuck it." People will. The shock value of things back then was like a lot more. There with the internet where you could just watch people get their heads cut off and like
This was like this will make
this
Midwest
will
Christian moms fucking
this will
freak
get
out.
this will get media attention. Yes,
Any
exactly.
attention's good
So-
attention.
So like I think there's some that's done like that where you just have crazy people that do actually believe this stuff, but I think a lot of it is like propagated by people who know that it's divisive and controversial and will like encourage that behavior because they're like people that are in the know that we're just doing this because it's like regardless of what their intent is, it's like what we have decided is going to get us the most attention, and then the people that are outside of it are like the reactionary, like they're the ones that are like they put us.
Well, then there's people who don't even notice it. Where it's
Well,
just
yeah,
like, what
yeah.
is even the point?
Well, that's just it. It's like you can like the reason that advertising works the way it does is because people that aren't interested in what you're advertising won't look at it, but the people that need to notice it will notice it, and that's kind of like where it's.
So what about Gabe's? It's a store by Target. I don't
Okay.
even know what they sell. I think it's
Pedo
a
swirl?
department. I think it's like a department. No, it's an upside down pentagram in their logo.
Oh,
Like
okay.
in the apostrophe or something. It's not an apostrophe. It's a circle with a fucking upside down star in it.
It's like kids shit, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what they sell there. I forget. I could look it up. I think
Clothing.
it's just like a regular department store.
Okay.
But it's just like why, like stuff like that I noticed where it's like why is that in your logo? Or like Owls is apparently one, and like Drake's fucking music label logo is an owl,
Yeah.
and it's just like doesn't like that's obviously on purpose. But I don't understand why they want
Because
to
I
be
think
so
it-
like braggadocious about it.
I think
or
it's
something.
because it just
Is
gets
this their
it gets
flexing, or-
it gets a response, like because they know that
It's-
it's like people in the industry know it means nothing. It's like they're just doing this, like, oh, that's gonna get controversy, so you're gonna make money off of that because it gets your shit more attention. So they don't say shit, and that makes it even more cryptic. But then people like you and me who have an eye for it and are like, hey, I noticed that. Well, what's the inner meaning behind it? Well, in reality, nothing. It's just there to get you hyper about something that you probably
It's just
wouldn't
a
have.
department like clothing store.
But yeah, like I think that has like an element of like
It's not in a circle, but they're
Yeah, it's upside down.
apostrophe and it's upside down star.
It's upside down.
Yeah.
I see it. There's just like what was it, Albertsons or whatever? No, it was the one that has the pedo swirl and the A.
I can picture
Yeah.
AMI or something.
Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah.
No, is it?
No, it's not AMI.
It's
One of them though. But yeah, there's a pedo swirl in the A. It might be
AOL.
Yeah, it might be AOL. Got a little guy running away from the fucking butt sex. AOL does kind of look like a sphincter. I actually pointed out that the Google Chrome logo looks like a sphincter.
It's big in music and more so, which you wouldn't think, but it's very big in rap.
Well, I know it's huge. Everything's.
Damn, you got gnarly black lint in your belly button.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, what the? Is that lint?
Yeah, it's from
That's so much, dude. Don't dig it out.
shirt.
Oh,
sweaty.
you can't hold the blunt with your right hand now. Oh, no, no,
give me your
no.
blunts.
Get your belly button hand. No,
Sweaty, too.
stop. Dude, let me sniff it.
It's gnarly, man. I got a hairy belly button.
Dude, that was like a layer of lint. I've never seen anything like that.
It's a sweaty thing. You got kids. You probably see.
No, I'll pull lint out. That was like your entire belly button had like thermal. I don't really wear thermals very often, so
It's a good thermal.
I got new socks and they're black, so they've been leaving my feet like just covered in like
it's
black
Like, ew,
lint.
your feet are gross. It's
Yeah.
like, shut up.
It's
just
lint.
Socks. Like,
I enjoy
bitch.
rolling it off and putting it into a big ball. Anyway,
she's got to unroll that shit. My mom used to call those sock donuts and then throw them at me while I was asleep.
they're not that big. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's a sock donut.
It's like you just peel it off and it like rolls into a donut shape, and then she'd wash them, and then like she'd like not notice it while she was transferring it from the washing machine to the dryer. So they dry and they're like wet in the middle still. So she'd be like, "What the fuck?" and like come in while I'm asleep and throw them at me.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You peel a sock off
Oh, when it's rolled
and it
up?
rolls. Yeah, how
Oh.
are you?
I thought you were peeling lint off of a sock and
No.
like making a donut out
No,
of it.
like
And then your
peeling your
mom's
sock
I was
Why
like
is
so
she
confused.
washing lint?
That's why I was confused.
Doing the exact same action you just described.
I didn't picture you like rolling the sock, my bad. But I don't know why it's huge in rap where even like these. They're not independent. I'm sure they're signed with a big label, but they started independent. Some of the guys I
Cooking
listen
with
to
a big ladle.
label, Underachievers, Flatbush Zombies, like these, like they're big, but they're like, they're not on the top radio 100, or you know what I mean. They're not like Lil Wayne or Drake or Jay-Z. They're more of a deep cut if you're a rap fan. But even them, like these smaller name guys, they constantly do different like devil like symbolism. Like the one guy always wears the hat with like the devil horns, and like they're always, you know, doing the fucking cover the eye and the this and that. And it's like, well, I think they signed with like Warner Brothers or something like that. And before they used to just talk about like dropping acid and being hippies, and now they're just like, you know.
You think Warner Brothers is Satan? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't even know if that's the specific label, but I think there's something with them. Mac Miller signed with them, and he was doing all his last posts were, you know, the cover of the eye and the riding the goat and like all these weird Baphomet symbolism type shit. And like it's just so prevalent in music where like Ariana Grande, all of her text on Twitter would be upside down, all of her album arts would be upside down. Apparently that's some satanic symbolism. It's just like,
well, the one
I feel like they're just being extra. Like I don't. Is it just like this paying homage to Satan worshiping / shock jockey type of marketing?
Yes.
Maybe, but like I don't like if you're just trying to like be rich and evil or whatever, like why do you gotta like
flaunt it?
Yeah, like I just don't. I don't know. Is that part of it?
Have you ever been rich and evil?
No.
That's just it. You gotta, when you get there, it's like you probably run out of things.
Just want to flex?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like is that?
Well,
that's where I'm just drawing like
the one that always
why
gets.
is it? Because I'm a country guy. Like I listen to a lot of country now. I'm a country guy. I listen to a good
Remember
amount.
when you had a rap career?
Yes, and now I'm an aspiring country singer. I freestyle country like the whole way home. Tina wanted to rip my head off.
2 boots.
My girl has to take a shit, so I'm driving fast down the old dirt
My
road.
girl is pooping her
We ate a
britches.
Sugar Hill sub, and now she's gonna have a fat diarrhea.
She likes to shit in the toilet out of her pussy. Every time she comes home, she's got 2 or 3 hoagies shoved up there.
Up there. That was nice.
Good country.
That was nice.
Good country dig.
Dang, that gave me goosebumps.
I know, right?
Country Joe rules. You got it dialed.
Oh man, I love.
Me and my partner Jake went up there.
We're what they call those butt buddies, you know, in the NASCAR American community.
We were up in the Brokeback Mountain. We went up there, and he stuck that thing up there. And
sets behind me. It goes, door bumper clear. And I go, oh.
Contact. But no, I don't. So
I want to talk
a lot
about
of the country dudes I listen to are like guys I'll find on Facebook Reels. They're not big label guys. Like
right.
They're very like what you call indie artists, grassroots, whatever. So I'm sure there's symbolism. I'm sure there's symbolism within like the, you know, the Taylor Swifts or the this and that, like, you know, the big star. But I'm not really into that. So like I don't really notice it in country, but I notice it a lot in rap, where they're just throwing some type of. I don't think
country has the same allure as rap does, because like they don't play country music for the most part at strip clubs. Just throwing that out there.
True. Where they're not playing like Mac Miller or the Underachievers at strip clubs either.
They play Mac Miller.
Maybe, but not the Underachievers.
I've gotten many a lap dances to Mac Miller. I can't identify any Underachiever songs by ear, but I probably have. But no, okay, so I got a fun springboard off of this if you want to actually extrapolate a little bit further on this music.
Is it prevalent in punk? The symbolism?
Totally.
Triangles or devil horns or whatever.
Look at
Rock, I mean, I know Rock, they do the devil thing, and Norton, who's appearing at Millville at the Lavoie Theater in a few weeks.
November 1st, Friday.
We got to go to that for sure.
I'm going to that.
I've
already got tickets to it. My aunt's going too. My aunt's boyfriend. I think my dad's going. Like I'm
gonna have to buy a ticket.
We got. I'll I haven't bought mine yet.
I've seen Norton like 2 or 3 times. He's great. I love Jim Norton. He was one of my, like he was my favorite comic for a few years. Now he's still like my top 5. I don't know who would be my favorite. I don't listen to Jim and Sam anymore, so I fell off. But
this is one of my favorite punk bands album covers, Choking Victim. Tell me that is not something.
Oh yeah, that's not even like
questionable.
It's not even symbol. It's not even like. You
know.
They
have Jesus and Mary and a bunch of upside down crosses, and then the Lucifer.
I guess what I'm referring to is a little more subtle. It's not that on the nose.
There's a band that we've seen called Bad Religion.
Only me with my like Mr. Crocker level tinfoil hat where
Fairy
I'm like,
godparents.
where other people would be like, that's just a stylistic choice. It's like
Well-
to wear devil horns, or to like, a lot of them will have these big dreads and they'll style them like devil horns, and it's like, that's not a stylistic choice. Like that's
No, that's
clearly
a-
trying to
that's-
appear like a Baphomet. Like it's just,
It's a stylistic choice.
it is, but like I don't
Well,
know.
okay, so
does Satan
noise-
run the music industry? Like,
Yes.
I don't know how to say what I'm saying. Like it's annoying at this point. It's just like, can
So-
you just make music and like fuck off with all the stupid creepy shit?
I'll give you another one. This kind of circles back to the thing that Wendigoon was talking about with like spells being like, or like cuss words and like, you know, certain things being not as direct. We were talking about this book that he was reviewing called The Lesser Keys of Solomon. Nice job on the show job. Woo! But yeah,
The Down syndrome.
Stone Cold Steve Autism. Shout out. Made many appearances on this show.
Stone Cold Down
So,
Austin.
so like, there's like, I think I always have that in mind now, where it's like sometimes when you hear like a phrase or something where it's like he sold his soul, you know, for a good music career. It's not necessarily that there is a contract where he met a dude at a
Signed
crossroads
it in
and
blood.
picked his
He
finger
met
and,
Papa Legba at the crossroads
he
at 3 a.m. and exactly the witching hour.
and the man in the hat was there as a witness.
that's
like,
Papa
yeah,
Legba.
Yeah, but like like I don't think it's like as dramatic as that, but I do think there's an element of like, do you have a moral compass? Are you willing to let that moral compass go in exchange for getting way further in the music industry than possible? Absolutely. And like, I think that there's an element of like, yes, we can outright throw demonic iconography up there because it is shocking and will get us attention, both negative and positive. But also,
But did they have to do it to
I don't think- I don't-
appease their superiors in the industry?
I
or-
don't think it's that. I think it's that, like, when you get to certain levels of rap, there's things that are out of your hand where it's like, well, what do you you sit down with your producers and like a fucking like album, like, you know, like a tastemaker per se, someone that like is responsible for the label, like giving you money and funneling, you know, kind of the attention that you're going to get when you drop a new album. And it's like, okay, well, what are the aesthetic choices we're going to pick for this? Well, do you want to be conservative? Do you want to do like, you know, a 90s thing like Boys to Men, or like, you know, whatever, where it's like you do like all white? Like there's always these like concept things where it's like Biggie Smalls had the picture, you know, where it's like, yeah,
All
the
white.
one all
And
white,
all black in the other one.
yeah, and like, so like there's like these stylistic choices that they make where it's not like you're doing that because you need to appease something, you know, or whatever. It might be ritualistic in like the sense of like, you know, you getting initiated.
Flatbush and UA did the all white thing too.
So-
they toured together, and literally all of them wore all white. And then the one dude, I only remember this, he would wear a white Canucks jersey for some reason.
Okay.
It's just like, you know how black dudes love wearing sports.
Love hockey sweaters.
They
man.
just sports gear in general
Yeah.
that matches,
Yeah.
like, and hockey. Some black dudes do like hockey sweaters. Like he always had a fucking, during this tour, he always had a white Canucks jersey on. I don't know. The shit was dope, but like,
think it's that
why do
movie-
they do the all white thing? Is it just a stylistic thing?
Well,
or is
it goes back to like the fucking Beatles. If you think about that, they had a white album. They have like shit where it's like they had
there is
iconography.
something deeper to that where I don't know it off the top of my head. Is that when they sold their soul, or is that like
So,
before they sold? There's
I-
some metaphorical bullshit to the all white
there,
thing.
there probably is, but it's like it probably like represents purity. If I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that it's like a rebirth or something like that, where it's like you've been initiated and now you
Yes.
can continue to do your art or whatever. But there's the one specific. I'm trying to steer you
Sorry.
back to this. No, I want to steer you back to this because I want to know if you've ever watched anything made by Noisy, like on
Yes.
YouTube. They're one where I think that they have something that's very like on par with like, you know, this like selling your soul like being a metaphor thing, where like there's a lot of bands that seemingly popped up like that were just dead, like dead acts, like, and dead acts is big in the punk community, so like it's acts where they go dormant for like, you know, 10, 15 years, and then out of nowhere they're on a
Taking
tour.
Back Sundays touring again, or
Yeah,
like something like that. Or
So, well, yeah, sort
not
of.
specifically, but
So like there's this one band that Noisy did a doc on, and it's this band that you would have had to be a fan of hardcore in New York at a very specific time in the 90s, and it's this band called Judge. And they're not a bad band either. Like their music's good, and it's not like overproduced or anything. It's just regular hardcore punk music from like 1992. But the guy, his name is Mike Ferraro, and he goes by Mike Judge, which is even funnier because Mike Judge is the guy that made Beavis and Butthead, and that created a lot of confusion when they were doing this Noisy, you know, tour, because it's like, oh, Mike Judge is going to be on Jim and Sam, and it's like, the fuck is this guy?
not that one.
It's not that one, but like he was still cool. It was like interesting to hear, but like, he's like one of the proverbial godfathers of hardcore in New York. and he was responsible for a lot of the acts getting, you know, whatever in the scene. But they were such a short-lived, like, one album kind of one-off band, and he didn't like touring because he didn't like the amount of violence that his band specifically was bringing to the scene. After witnessing a bunch of skinheads in somewhere like Western Pennsylvania or Ohio or something like that, there was a bunch of skinheads at one of their shows, and they stomped a black dude out. He had to go to the hospital, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be contributing to that." So like he stopped touring.
Fair.
So like they don't tour, they don't put any new music out for like 15 years, and then out of nowhere in like 2015, Noisy just like pops up with a documentary on them, and it's like. One could argue on the surface level, hey, let's do like a fucking reunion tour. Let's like, you know, get these guys back out there because they made good music. The scene settled down a little bit. Like we can get them.
Just one guy in the writer's room might be a Judge fan.
Yeah.
And that could have sprungboard the
Exactly.
entire thing.
Like someone's walking around with a Judge patch on. It's like, hey, what's that? They Google the music. Hey, this is pretty good. Let's figure out what they're up to. Oh, they haven't played in 15 years. You know, whatever. But like Noisy has this like habit of resurrecting dead bands, and also there was a coinciding thing where Noisy and Vice started doing a lot of things copacetically right around the time Shane Smith and Gavin McInnes sold their stakes in Vice. So they were on the way out and Noisy was on the way in, and then all of a sudden Vice becomes this like fucking bastardized version of what it used to be. It's just this like bloated corpse of like things being like
Action Bronson fucking
yeah
food.
Well, like because there's like stuff where it's like elements of it, because it used to be like subcultures. It was like big on like if there is a prevalent subculture that doesn't get attention, we're gonna go identify that. And then it was like at first it was really cool because it was like Rick the Crank show. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but he's a skater and he goes to I think it's just called Abandon. But like that is like one of the Noisy ones where it's like that is an element of old Vice. But then it's like
What was he doing? Like Urbex?
Urbex, but he's a skater. So like go to an abandoned mall in like, you know, Springfield, Ohio, or you know whatever.
Fucking hit a tent there
Yeah,
inside.
skate it, but
That's
then
cool.
like give a little history about like what's going on with the town and why the mall failed and whatnot. And then he'll go to like an old like cement factory in New Mexico and like
I would totally be into that.
it's a
I
great
love
show. It's a fucking
Informative Urbex is fucking rad.
It's fucking awesome. I do enjoy that show, but like that's like one of the last few holdouts that Vice like still has. But like now it's just mostly like Noisy makes a documentary about like this band, or like they'll have like a limited release of like some band that was like popular in like 1978, and there's like one remaining member, so they like they get him out of the nursing home and then like surround it. Like there's this one.
Can you still sing?
Yeah, and like they'll get like a bunch of young people, put them in the band, be like, oh, it's the reunion tour. Well, half the band's dead, the other half are in jail, and this guy's like, this fucking Raisin's the only thing that
And
can
give
sing.
him fucking $1,500
Yeah,
to come out.
So like they have this like habit of doing that, and I think that like has this lingering sell your soul
In
effect.
rap, that would be called culture vulture.
Culture vulturing in what way? Because I know
So,
I
like-
know that expression, but
Drake was apparently accused of doing this a lot, where it's not reviving dead acts who haven't performed in 15 years, which they do that by sampling, where they
Yeah,
wait till
that's-
stuff just cleared the sample thing and then they turn it into a beat.
right.
But Drake was cherry picking dudes that had like viral SoundCloud level songs and then like inviting them to be on a track, like under the rouge of like, I'm gonna change your career,
Say
and
it
really
again.
he would just completely like hijack their sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said Rouge again.
What's it supposed to be?
Ruse.
That one too.
Clever attempt at trickery.
My bad.
It's okay.
There's a trickery. There was some. It was in the Yakub documentary. It was called something else though. They called it like tricknition or something. It was some study of like how white people are commit trickery. Like it was some like weird word like that.
Yeah, Yakub rules, man.
I was like, what?
He's the mad
They
scientist.
learned trickery where they would be evil. It was just so fucking goofy. But yeah.
So like, no, but the reason that like Noisy, I think that there's like a lingering thing of like, hey, you might have not done anything, but you still have that shot at the limelight for like, even if it's not like you getting a full career out of this, but you want that 15
still make a few
you want that
bucks.
15 minutes of fame again. You want to taste it again. We'll do that. Hey, remember that contract you signed in like 1982 where you're high on meth? Guess what? Still holds up now. You're obligated to do this for us. I think there's like an element of that because like there's also another one. It's like a divergence of Vice, but like Terry Richardson, who I've talked about on here before. He's a photojournalist that has been in some hot water for like a whole bunch of stuff. He wrote a book that was pretty controversial, but he was a fashion photographer that ended up becoming like a journalist. And every time like one of the big, like Miley Cyrus turned 18 and she like went and got drunk in Terry's apartment and they took a bunch of photos of her in like a scantily clad bathing suit where you could like see her nipples and shit, and she's like holding a beer and whatnot. So this guy has direct ties to Hollywood child trafficking and like, you know, like fashion industry human trafficking and stuff like that. Like there's like questionable information out there about Terry Richardson being linked to having Epstein himself and like other people that are
He
like
was a diddler.
So
He diddied out.
He was more like the guy, I think, that procured the blackmail more than he was actually like, and I know he was indulging. Like, there's a lot of pictures of him getting his dick sucked by like a fucking model that 2 weeks later just happened to overdose, shit like that.
So there's some extremely, which this ties into Diddy now. I'm just putting these two and two together. There's some extremely sus Biggie lyrics.
About Diddy?
I noticed, no.
About being gay?
No, but I noticed one on the way over. It just came up. I was listening to, remember that song, Hey Ho? It's called like Hip Hop Hooray.
Yeah.
That came in my head. I put it on, and then I let Spotify do its thing. And some Biggie song came on. It was called like Dreams or something. It's him.
That's not Naughty by Nature, right?
That one
Hip Hop
is.
Hooray?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
The
I know
Biggie
rap.
one, I couldn't. I have all of his albums and stuff, but for some reason, this was like just it wasn't a single. It was like an interlude song or something. I don't know. I didn't recognize the song, so I was like, oh, I'll let it play. It was him like rapping, like fantasizing about fucking different like R&B singers and stuff like that. It was like dreaming of fucking R&B pussy. But the line that I was like, what? Because this was recorded in like 1995. It was like, you can 76 to 69, try 68, make Raven Simone call it date rape. And I was like, Raven Simone's like 40 now. And then I Googled it, and she was 8 at the time that this was recorded. And I wasn't the first person to notice this lyric because it immediately came up on Reddit.
Right.
And then another one came to mind, was like, don't you fucking know we fucking kidnap kids, fuck them in the ass, throw them over the bridge. That's literally a Biggie lyric.
It took him out.
That literally is a Biggie lyric. And it's
Damn.
just like, you're talking about this, and I said P. Diddy, and I'm like, wait, was this like some P. Diddy shit where P.
Yeah.
Diddy was making him do weird shit? Like,
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? Like, because, there's all
Lathering
this.
up in GHB baby oil and making them throw kids off the Brooklyn Bridge. Yo, kid, hold still. God.
Because there's like a fine line of where like Led Zeppelin had relations with younger women, but it wasn't like, it was more of grooming versus like,
Yeah.
Biggie's like talking about, date raping an 8-year-old.
That's pretty fucked.
What the fuck? Fucking kids in the ass and throwing them off the Brooklyn Bridge.
Jesus
like, what are we
Christ.
talking about, dude? It's a little different
It's
than
rap
like
game.
John, whatever the fuck his name is from Led Zeppelin. What's the singer's name? That
Robert Plant.
Yeah, wasn't he in love with like a 15-year-old or
I
something?
think so.
That's also bad, but at least he didn't throw her off a bridge.
He might have. Well, I watched.
don't know.
I watched that documentary. This is completely unrelated, but I watched that documentary that came out not too long ago, where they have like the dramatic recreations of Sid Vicious and Nancy fucking whatever Sturm or what, I forget her fucking last name always, but I want to say Putnam. But it's
What
not
band
that.
was Sid Vicious in?
The
Name
Sex
sounds familiar.
Pistols.
Okay.
He was the bass player for the Sex Pistols, and they had a very brief solo career before overdosing and dying at age like 22.
GG.
Yeah, he
He was taken out by the music industry.
I mean,
Big Jimi Hendrix, dude.
You actually want to hear it. I got a big beef with Malcolm McLaren, and of all people, Lee could probably do a more coherent job explaining this to you. But Malcolm McLaren was like a straight up psychopath, like an absolute like sociopath.
And who was that?
He
Is he
was
the
their
singer or
he was their
something?
manager. So
Okay.
Johnny Rotten or John Lydon, I've talked about him on here before. He's like a right wing red pilled conspiracy theorist and is like a Trump supporter, even though he's British. But he's always like been
Hell yeah.
of the conservative party over in London and always like kind of been on that. So he likes Trump. But he was the one that got kicked off the radio for outing Jimmy Savile for fucking dead kids in 1986 or something like that. And so like Sid Vicious
What
is
do you even call that?
Necrophilia.
Necropedophilia? Like it's a double.
Pedo-necrophilia.
It's a double whammy, dude.
necropedophilia.
Dude, it's too wordy.
Yeah, it is. It's just too many eggs in that basket, brother. Including
Pedonecrophilia.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a mouthful for sure.
podiatry. But yeah, so like Johnny Rotten always like had this like
that
kind
red
of.
light just blinked. Is
It
we
keeps.
good?
It just means that the
I got you.
core
Just
is
want to make sure we didn't
now we're
fucking
good.
gonna have another still frame for the
That could
second
be
half.
fun. That'd be fun. But no, he's always had this like conspiratorial mind, and him and Malcolm McLaren. Malcolm McLaren was this fashion designer that decided he was going to become a record producer in like the late 70s, and used the Sex Pistols image because they were like getting a little bit popular in the underground UK punk scene. He used their image to basically sell clothes, but like he wanted to make this like very forward fashion, but like also like Nazi-esque. Like he wanted it to be like kind of like the punk aesthetic was like a uniform, and he would sell that uniform. Like, so he had this like delusion of grandeur that like somehow the band was going to equate to like him making better fashion sales. But yeah, he's the reason that Sid Vicious got hooked on heroin. He was the one that got Nancy involved with him.
Spike up.
Yeah, and like he wasn't like at a certain point, like they do a good job of illustrating that there was a theory of diminishing returns with Sid, because like he just went off the fucking reservation, and like also apparently like his mom at certain points was like kind of encouraging it and then like discouraging it, and then like kind of like came full circle on it or something. I forget what, but I think she was like the one that like introduced him to speed, if I'm not mistaken. So there was always like a presence of narcotics in Sid's household, but like
we all make our own choices.
Exactly. Yeah, but like this chick got him hooked, and then like Malcolm McLaren did absolutely nothing to get him into rehab or whatever. He just was like, all right, you're gonna sober up on tour, so we're gonna send you to the United States, and you're gonna have to like fend for yourself, and separated him from Nancy, and then he just turned into a shit show. He like never left the fucking U.S. and like basically just died in a hotel room here. With a needle in his arm. It's a fucked up story, but that is the more direct.
Extremely common in the music industry.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, they're not like a major label. They're not like anything. The Sex Pistols were on, like, I think Columbia Records, like at the latter stages of their career, as a, like putting out new music as an act or whatever. But they were never like on.
Columbia is huge.
They're not,
it?
but not like I think like it was like not Columbia. What am I gonna say? Chrysalis. Is that British one?
I'm not sure.
I know. I used to know these better. Jay would actually be a good one. Yeah, there's like one where it was like the kind of like there's like the mainstream ones, and then there's like the people who like when you're about to get on the mainstream, it was like they never really like broke through that threshold or whatever. But anyway, what I'm saying is like I don't think that they're like the Drake tier or like the Ariana Grande tier, but like yeah, that's absolutely a very literal explanation of like that the music producer ended this dude's life because he wanted to keep making money. So like yeah, they do fucked up shit, whether it be for it to be like he wanted this aesthetic. It's like he really want them to be Nazis. It's like the same with like the Satanists. Do they really want them to be Satanists, or are they just trying to like sell something right now? And it's like
you can argue either way.
Yeah, exactly. It's ambiguous. Yeah,
I mentioned Jimmy and the Lavoie Theater and all that. I just meant to say that he's
doing it entirely naked and covered in blood.
He's just been recorded on O&A, because when I used to be into this, and they were talking about the symbolism in death metal, and because he's a big Ozzy fan and stuff like that, and he's just like, all you fucking dummies who think this is like some like real like satanic,
they're
like they're
worshiping the devil in their basement closet at home.
He's like, no, that's just like, it's shocking, and it sells albums. And it's just like, you could argue that's a fair argument, but it's just like, I have more fun saying that they met Legba at the crossroads at 3 a.m. and they pricked their finger and signed their soul away in blood. And I don't know. There's all different, like, you go the 27 Club route. Jimi Hendrix, was he fucking whacked, or did he legitimately OD on a drug that he never normally took?
No, he didn't OD. He drowned in his own vomit because he drank too much wine, and then they found
they gave him a bunch of pills or something too.
Well, no, he was with a chick, and the chick got him drunk on wine while he was on barbiturates, but he was on barbiturates before they gave him the wine, and then the chick was supposed to like turn him on his side or whatever, but it's fairly evident that they flipped him directly over into his vomit, and he choked on wine, so he had like wine in his lungs.
Apparently the barbiturates that he was on was something that he never was like, that he wasn't into. So it was like, there's a whole bunch of weird conspiracy around his death.
Well, because there's like
apparently the mob was involved with his record label.
Yeah, the Dr. Feelgood guy was like a mob guy too, and he was like following the band.
But why did they all die at 27? Like, what's the symbolism?
I don't think there's
that?
symbolism. I think it's just you think like it's like no, it's just like when your fucking your body starts to break down from doing drugs every day for like 6 years straight.
Yeah, that's
Look
fair.
at John Bonham, like
Kurt Cobain.
Keith Richard. Well, yeah, there's like some. That's a whole fucking another can of worms.
It's just it's complete.
It's
just the whole 27
Kurt Cobain
Club
chose when he was gonna go shoot himself, and that's like even.
Courtney Love killed him, dude. Justice for Kurt. I've been a fan of that since MySpace.
I was a fan
JFK,
of the conspiracy theory that Il Duce killed him, the guy from Mentors, but he got killed.
Was this some bald fat dude who was like a hired hitman?
He was in a band called Mentors, and then he had the funnier way of dying because allegedly Courtney Love. There's a phone conversation of Il Duce and fucking Courtney Love where Courtney Love asks him to kill Kurt, and Duce's like, "Fuck that, no," and then like that's like evidence that he did it or whatever because it's like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge situation. But Il Duce was walking down the trail train tracks, and
It's definitely
he had
not evidence that he
had
did it.
exactly. But El Duce died by walking down train tracks. His foot got stuck in the switcher or whatever, because he dropped his beer and he couldn't find it in the train tracks, and then his foot was stuck. So he was like, I see this train coming. I'm probably gonna die. So he Sig Heiled the train, and the train hit him, and that's how he died.
That sounds suspicious as fuck.
Isn't that
too.
fucking suspicious?
That's completely suspicious. It's
Dude,
like,
it's fucking funny as fuck.
there's some girl that died like that in like Galloway.
Well, that was a unsolved
the,
mystery.
minus the Zeke Heil.
You don't know that.
Well,
It was Galloway after all.
yeah, the theory was that she's already dead, and then the dudes just chucked her on the train tracks and were like, she killed herself. And like, yeah, that's a fucked up one. But I feel like a train is a very easy one to just like.
Look at India.
Well, no,
A lot
you
of
can just
unsolved mysteries over
take
there.
a dead body and be like, it gets so dismembered that you're like, he killed himself. He dropped his beer, his foot got stuck. It's just like, that sounds pretty fucking.
Pretty plausible.
I'd rather dive out of the way and let my leg get ran over than fucking walk around like Lieutenant Dan for the rest of my life than fucking.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lieutenant Dan, did you see that guy in Florida?
Yeah, what happened there?
He lived.
The guy,
He was just like the homeless tweaker
Yeah, he was-
dude who
he was,
lived
like,
on
living on
a
a
boat,
boat,
in a
yeah.
sailboat. Like,
he was like completely fine.
I'm gonna
during the
ride
whole-
this storm out. Yeah, no, he was fine.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I like that.
Then
So
there's
that's
some
now
stories.
that's a
He's got 14 arrests. One of them
Nice.
for punching a cop. One of them for all of his charges were like, I'm not mad at any of these. One was like trying to deliberately set a park bench on fire.
He's really
He's got like
sticking it
no
to-
teeth. He's like
really
legit
sticking
tweak.
it to the man.
He's a legit like tweaker. Like, but
He was that guy. He's the husband of that woman that was walking down.
he doesn't
the
give off those like Jaws ice dog vibes. Like he doesn't seem like a victim. You know what I mean? Like
Ice
he's
dog. Okay.
those dudes.
Yeah,
Like
I
my
know, I
uncle
get you.
Bob.
I know,
He
I see.
wasn't asking for a favor. He's like, I'm just gonna do meth
I'm just
on my
gonna.
boat.
I am going to be a fucking menace.
I think it's more so like it's not even like a boomer drug vibe. It's like an opiate vibe
Yeah.
in general. But this guy is like a tweaker. He's on meth. He's a go-getter. He's living on a boat. He's
tweaker-
rolling his own cigarettes.
tweakers are a fucking weird thing for me because
They're
like
chaotic, but they're productive.
No, in New Orleans, you'd catch tweakers where it's like they like would drop because it would get too hot, and then they would just like fucking be spazzing.
They're not
and-
spending money on Aquafina or anything.
No, they're just wandering around like fucking piss drunk at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and I guess get like a teener or something like that. And fucking like they don't do enough to keep them up, but their like body is just like conking out. So you'll see them like in the like the
They're
slump,
just
like,
they're lagging.
They're going down, like they're glitching, and then like you'll turn a corner, go back like an hour the same way, and then they're just like face down with their ass in the air, and like they've completely pissed themselves or sometimes thrown up, and it's like they're just foul. What's up,
That's
JJ?
terrible. I want to live that life for a day. Hey, puppies.
Nah, she's fine. She can stay here. Let me go get another mic.
No, it's all
Come on, hop on with us.
We're talking about homeless tweakers in Louisiana or something.
Oh, I know nothing about that.
Joe was telling me
I'm
the.
homeless and I've never been to Louisiana, so
Me neither.
and I'm not quite sure what a tweaker is.
Someone who abuses methamphetamines, they usually don't have teeth and they're pretty chaotic individuals. We were talking about that guy in Florida who rode out the hurricane on like a sailboat. He had no teeth. A bunch of arrests for assaulting cops and trying to set park benches on
What
fire.
you're saying is he should have drowned in the hurricane.
Oh, no. We were saying that people who are on opiates are usually pretty unproductive, but people on stimulants seem to be, while also retarded. At least.
Speaking of retarded,
You fucking broke my blunts, you fuck.
Hey,
You bitch.
she is a bitch.
hey, come over here.
They get all dry because there's no humidity now, and then they're so brittle that if it falls off the table, they just like crack. You know what I mean?
Here.
We're live
Hello.
from the Blacktooth Studios.
We're live here with Jay Scrocca.
What happened
Comedian.
to Hollywood Jay Scrocca?
Hollywood Jay Scrocca and Cheyenne the dog. Hello. Come here, sweetie. But yeah, all right, so
So it's nice to be here in beautiful Tuckahoe in Joey's backyard.
your backyard.
Okay. Cheyenne's backyard.
Cheyenne's backyard.
Yes,
This
Cheyenne's
is
backyard.
Cheyenne's backyard. So
You got Jay just completely off camera.
yeah, well he doesn't want to sit here. Come on.
That's
come,
all right
Come
now.
on. Come over here.
You could just hear me.
What?
Exactly.
Almost got him. I
Jay
almost got him.
calling in.
Hello.
Wow. Come on,
You on the road, Jay?
Is this
You want to
this the
call him?
Dunkin' Donuts? I would need a coffee.
Hello. I missed you.
Anyway.
Yes, I did. Thank
Shut
you.
her inside.
Well, no. What were you? What you got going on comedy wise? Why don't you?
Nothing, I'm going to Florida.
Is it still there?
Flood's still there. I checked.
Good.
Yeah, they called me today. I said, "Are you still there?" They said, "Yes, we are." Then I'll be there.
The entire state of Florida called you.
Well,
that must have been a lot of phone calls.
just one now. They have like
Ricky
a
D.
main number. The Florida We're Still Here number.
What's the-
1-800-FLORIDA.
FLORIDA.
I think.
All right. There we go.
Florida.
Florida.
So how are things in Blacktooth country?
We were good. We were talking about music industry conspiracy theories. Like, what you worked in the music industry? What are your thoughts on Diddy?
Weren't you the lead singer
I don't
of?
know.
yeah,
It's
lead singer.
apparently he did some very bad stuff, and he's paying for
Did
it
he
now.
do it?
Did he do it?
Or
Yeah.
did he not?
Hey,
Did
come
he
on.
did it?
Come on. Back up.
But yeah. Now, you know one conspiracy, it's not even a conspiracy theory, it's just a fact. And I don't know if you have any Swifties in your audience,
Oh.
but, you know,
Probably
why
not.
doesn't anybody talk about Taylor Swift's father buying the record company that signed her? Her father's a multimillionaire. He's a financial advisor from outside of Philadelphia. And
Watch your head. Her
she
first start.
wanted her first father? She
No,
only had one father.
her first start. Because isn't
Not
her?
her first record deal was with Big Machine Records down in Nashville. Daddy bought it. He bought into the label. They needed money. They said, "Okay, give us the money. We'll sign your daughter." My philosophy is, if she didn't have a rich daddy, she'd still be in the subways in New York City playing for loose change.
She was
100%.
playing at Avalon Coffee too. Apparently.
Well, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Big Machine Records because there's that correlates to NASCAR talk where there's a team called Big Machine Racing. It's owned by Scott Borchetta, who's one of the lead owners of Big Machine Records.
Okay.
I just found that out this week that
Well,
he
but-
apparently has the guy who owns this racing team was like the producer of her first 10 years of her career or whatever. I didn't know that.
That's
Big Machine
Daddy,
Racing.
Daddy gave $1 million to buy into the label because they were sinking, and you know. That's what happened, but you know, I worked with some bands they were talented.
Streetlight
I think they were
Manifesto.
all a lot
Yeah,
more
that's
talented than she ever could be, but you know, they didn't have rich daddies.
Yeah,
I still got them signed. It just, you know,
Jay used to work with
It's the
Streetlight
same.
Manifesto.
It's the same thing in racing though, where if you can bring $1 million of sponsorship money, you're going to get the ride versus the kid who can drive better than you.
Yeah,
It's just
well,
like
that's
it's a
the-
money.
Come on, cough it
It's
up.
the same in any
SCG
industry,
racing.
I guess.
It
Really,
is, even
yeah.
comedy. Even comedy. I mean, you know, there's people that get backers or have their own money to produce their own Netflix special. Netflix needs content. Doesn't mean that they're stars. Doesn't mean that there's one. Swear to God, they were used on a laugh track. There was no audience in
The
this
Brennan
thing.
Schaub special.
and it's like, you know, it's just, you know, people have the money to do that, and hey, you know, good for them. Good for them to have the money and get. I don't begrudge them, but you know,
Takes away from the legitimacy of.
well, it doesn't because I think people make their own decisions whether or not they find the person funny. I mean, look, if this guy's funny, then by all means, you know, if you can get the head of the line because you have, you know, backers or have your own money to produce a special and get it up on a national
Or even to
platform.
buy a spot on a Sirius
then-
XM show to plug your hour or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, but you know, it's funny. I got a message today on Facebook from a kid who's a comic, 10 years in, and is pissed off at me because
Want to read it? I want to name them.
No,
Come on, read 'em.
No, I'm not going to name names.
Drop names, baby.
Name drop. Come on, let's
No,
create some
we're not-
podcast.
we're not- listen, we're not
this is
gonna-
the beef segment brought to you by USDA.
We're not, maybe not on this show. If I get another one of these messages, maybe another time I'll come.
Joe is the biggest non-name dropper where he censors everything. It'll be like a random story about a kid from high school. He's like, I don't want to say their name, but now he wants you to like.
No,
add
well, you know
this
what?
is the beef. This is the beef segment.
You know, at
Brought
this
to you
point, well,
by-
I've got some feelers out to find out some other names. If I confirm everything, I don't mind coming up here. But the bottom line is you know, and again, I'm only doing this 10 months, and I think I've achieved a good bit of success for being in this for just 10 months. But it's because I work my ass off. I'm not buying anything. I'm not handed anything. I don't know anybody. I'm working the phones. I'm working the emails. I'm getting gigs.
Grassroots.
He's a call
Boots
girl.
on the ground.
That's it. Boots on the
It's
ground.
organic.
Call
It's
girl.
not- it's not-
You know, but seriously, you know. And I got this text from this kid that said, "Oh, you know, there's a few people in Jersey comics that are a little pissed off at you. You're not paying your dues. You're stepping on toes." I said, "Whose toes am I stepping on? And what dues am I expected to pay? Do you see-
$100 a month.
Yeah. Do you see how hard I'm working to get these gigs?" I said, "I'm at about a 70-30, 70 no's to 30 yeses." places as far as shows. It's a numbers game. You just keep reaching out, and these guys don't know how to do it. And
They're
in my-
expecting someone to reach out to them.
well,
where
number
it's like-
one and number two, they suck. They're what I refer to as open mic comics. They'll
what I
never
say.
get past open mics. I mean, they're not funny. I mean, the one guy that supposedly criticized me, I've seen him. He didn't even get a smile. He's terrible. There's not a single show. She agrees.
Terrible.
It's like that victim mentality. Of
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You know, I suck, so he's good, but let's make him suck too by bringing him down. Rather, a smart person would say, "Hey, how are you doing this? Tell us how." I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to get the
Giant,
shows that you're on.
stop
I'd love to play the venues.
Can I do 5 minutes before you go up or something?
Yeah.
Something.
How pick my brain or but instead it's like that's pick his nose and pick his butt. What did I raise that? No, his mother must have raised that. But I just get very defensive. Number one, on my reputation, because this kid said, "Oh, your reputation's getting bad." Because my reputation's not getting bad. Why? Because a couple of open mic comics are jealous of me and can't get paid gigs and get.
And what are you doing that's nefarious? You're not buying your way to the top. You're just.
I'm working.
You're putting in the
You know what I
legwork.
mean? I'm working my ass off.
Yeah.
I'm making phone calls. I'm following up. I
You're
follow up
putting
with a
yourself
guy.
out there too. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Listen, I'm going to be on another podcast in the middle of next month. Nancy Rizzuti's Gagoots podcast. She does a lot of national. She just interviewed Bobby Collins. If you know
Who?
Bobby Collins, he's a well-known comic. So there's a lot of people out there who are asking me to come on their podcast because they see my podcast interview, especially when I do the Blacktooth podcast. And say, hey, we'd like you
guy's
to be
pretty good.
We'd like you to be on our podcast.
2 hours
too.
of dog shit and 10 minutes of something good at the
That's
end. when Jay
listen,
comes
but
on.
you know what? If you get 1 minute of something good out of 2 hours of dog shit, that's
That's why we bring you-
a diamond in the rough.
That's why we
right?
bring you on, Jay.
But it's just
Hey, come on, stop it.
It's frustrating to see or to hear these people reach out to me and tell me that I'm stepping on people's toes, and then tell me
It's
okay,
not like
whose
you're going
toes-
to an open mic and bumping them. Like, you're not doing anything
And-
nefarious or
And
like.
I can't tell you how many
anything shitty.
times when people ask me how I'm doing, I say, listen, I'll do a free seminar at one of the industry open mics where it's mainly just comics and people in the industry. I'm happy to tell everybody this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. It's called hard work. It's called networking. It's called writing and rewriting and make sure your stuff's funny. I mean, I've never gone to a show where I've bombed. I've never been heckled. I've never been booed. I may not get all the laughs that I expected on a set, but I've never not gotten laughs doing a set, number one. And number two, I if I know something needs to be tweaked, I'm going to tweak it. My stuff's not perfect, and I'm always writing. I'm always trying to better myself, improve my material. And these guys are they maybe get a laugh here. Maybe they go out, mom and cousins laugh at their stuff. Now they think they're fucking comics. They're not. I intentionally did my first few shows where I didn't want anybody that I knew in the audience because I wanted to make people that didn't know me from shit laugh.
Yeah.
And if I could do that, then it's easy to make people that laugh. And I did. And that's
Well,
how
being willing to share the information and the knowledge is like, it says it all. Where those people, they're more in like the scarcity mindset where they think by you getting a show, that's somehow taking the show away from them. And it's like, there's enough shows to go
I was
around
just
for
gonna
everybody.
say
Like, it's not.
that, Jake. I tell people there's so many stages. There's so many opportunities. You may not get on the stage you want right now, but get on a stage. Get out there. If you're good, bookers will find you. Bookers will reach out to you, and I'm getting that now. And it's pretty cool to get calls from other comics or bookers saying, "Hey, we heard about you. We'd like you to come up, do a set." And I mean, I'm doing shows. I've been in 7 states: Florida, PA, Jersey, New York, Delaware, Virginia.
Well, the guys that are talking about you probably are going to the same 2 open mics every
exactly,
once a month.
and they've
getting
never
up,
done a paid gig. One kid I had on my first paid gig in North Wildwood, I had him on there, and he got very few laughs. And the other guy that's supposed to be talking shit about me was there, did the open mic, and people didn't even giggle. I mean, supposedly they're getting better, and I hope they are. It's not easy getting up in front of a bunch of strangers trying to make them laugh. And, you know, I give credit to everybody that does it, even the people that are being assholes and talking shit about me. You know, they're still part of a small group of people that have the balls or are crazy enough to get up and do this. But it's just like,
You got a lot of chutzpah.
yeah, whatever.
Got spunk, kid.
You got spunk, son.
I'm broken. My head's broken.
You're
They
broken
broke
individual.
me.
But you know,
They broke my
it's just one of
sphincter.
those. And I didn't mean to come in and hijack the show.
No,
It's
you
nice
can.
of you guys to have me on. It's a beautiful day. I have to go poop now.
Jesus.
Jay pooping on the haters, dude.
You got. Why don't you leave us with a joke?
A joke or one of my stories.
Stories works.
So, you know, I've been doing comedy for a while. I work with a lot of great comics. One night I was working with this comic that was telling a story how he bonded with his father after he found his father's stash of pornography. And I thought to myself, you know, that brings back a story from when I was 9 years old. I found my dad's stash of pornography. We didn't bond over it, but I discovered that's when my father was gay. I realized that Johnny Does the Catching was not a baseball film. But I'm bump.
Grandpa Joe is a very nice man.
It's a joke. Remember what you asked me to tell you? A joke, not the history of our family.
That's the worst thing as a radio guy / podcast guy you can do to a comic is, tell us a joke. You got a joke, Mr. Funny Man?
Yeah, come on, funny. Come on,
See,
come on,
I
monkey
pulled
dance.
that out of
Bring
my
the
ass
funny.
despite I got a lot of poop backed up.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, but I'm not him.
Ooh.
But thank you guys for having me. It's always fun.
All right, go hit the showers,
I always
Chief.
wear my Blacktooth podcast sweatshirt, just not today.
While making love.
All right.
Makes his dick look bigger. If you buy some of our merch, it'll make your dick look bigger too. Just wear nothing but a Blacktooth podcast
We
hoodie.
even sell merch.
We did.
It's by order.
Yeah, by order. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Ciao.
Toodaloo.
Toodles.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Scrocca. He will be performing at I don't know, some point in November.
Florida, if it's still there.
Yeah, November.
I'm relaxed. I'm vegging in Florida.
Oh, okay.
He's going to Florida to be a Floridian.
Enjoy.
On inside. Stay with hey.
Nah, she can come out. Just she's got to. All right. Well, yeah.
She ruins the show.
God. I
And my
got.
blunt. I gotta fix it.
I gotta fix the blunts. I got like one topic of stupid, but I mentioned this the other day to you. I was like having like an epic meltdown about pickup truck dads over at Amanda's Field, and it's like something about like girls soccer, specifically pickup truck dads. That
Girl
like,
dads overcompensating.
yeah, well, yeah, it's like just what is it about like if the second you have a daughter, it compels like some men to like
Is it the same
go,
as like softball dads or
yeah,
something?
like hockey girl dad, like but it's like what compels you to go get like a Ram like 2500 and like go and just be the most aggressive person in the room like around everybody, like it's like
I wanted a son.
well, like maybe I don't know, but like yeah, I really like I was walking her like 3 days of the 7 days this week, and there's soccer games around this time. Like so, I'll take her over there, and I try to avoid like walking her near the children and whatnot because she barks and she's big, So I don't want her to get
Scary.
I don't want her to fucking rub anybody the wrong way. But there's been like over the 3 times I've been there, and there's been soccer games going on 2 nights in a row this week where there's like a dad that's like big beard, trying to pull off the Jason Kelsey look, like trying to do that thing. Having a conversation with his buddy who looks very similar to him, driving a similar truck out of the side of his mouth. And they're like standing there just mean mugging me because I'm just like walking my dog near kind of where they're standing. And I'm like, this isn't like a confrontational situation, like a little nod of the head, a little like, wave, even like a sup, something like that.
Just a head nod.
Just
that's all I need.
like, hey, just acknowledge that
How's
I'm there.
it going?
But they just stare you down. And I'm like,
That's redneck energy, though.
it's like because like there's
I feel that way when I
base-
walk into Lavari's.
well, because there's like baseball dad energy, and that's like fun. They're like, hey, you want a beer, kid? Like I was walking Cheyenne, I had her in the one baseball field that they weren't using, and she was like running around, she like sniffing the fence line and whatnot, and there was people watching their kids on the other side, and this guy was drinking High Noons, and I was like, hey, it's a little late for High Noons, but there's not a bad time or like something stupid like that. And the guy's like,
gay Joe shit.
yeah, and the guy was like, "Oh, your dog's adorable. You want a high noon to hang out?" I'm like, she's a little bit rambunctious, but like I appreciate that. Thank you. Like I've never had that interaction with these soccer parents. It's just I think it's like
How old are the kids? Rough.
so the one day it was like 8 to 12, and then the next day it was like probably like 14, 15-year-old like
Are they
girls travel.
if they're teenage girl dads, their life probably just sucks. Like they're probably dealing with the most moodiest bitches of all time.
That's
Like,
understandable.
They're probably just miserable and like I don't know. They're like I said, it's probably not intentional. Like they're probably just miserable.
Just beat down by
yeah,
life.
dude, 100%.
Yeah.
I've definitely meme mugged some people after a long day of toddler parenting.
I can
I'm just
understand
like, get
that.
the fuck away from me. Like I don't even want to invite any type of nicety.
Interaction,
Yeah, it's just like
no niceties.
I'm staring you down. I don't want you to wave at me. Like,
Get the fuck out of my way, you retard.
which I don't know. These guys are probably just douchebags, to be honest.
It's like, and I'm saying you're gonna notice them now too, because they'll probably take like Vinny and Steph over to the fucking park at some point. Stefan. I shouldn't say Steph. That's a girl name.
No, I mean there was a Stefan on my high school hockey team, and we all called him Steph. So like it's
Okay.
not, but it's just weird because Tina's sister's name's Stephanie, and like we all
Okay.
call her Steph. So I'm like I don't want him to be correlated, but our nephew who's 2 actually renamed Stefan to Stan because
Stan.
he can't say Stefan.
Okay.
So yeah, my nephew Graham just says Baby Stan.
Baby
And
Stan.
then, everyone in the family calls him Stan now. And
Stan.
my niece on my side calls him Baby Fawn. So I
So
I go back.
your
and forth
niece
between-
Chinese?
I call him. Yes. No.
Oh, baby Stan!
Baby Fawn.
Baby Fawn,
I call him all day. I call him Stani or I'll call him Fani.
Fani.
I like rarely call him Stefan.
Turn into Norman. Hooked on phonics.
The annoying is we picked his name thinking that it's like you pick Joe. There's only one pronunciation. It's Joe. We picked Stefan thinking like this is Stefan. Everyone's gonna call him Stefan.
Stefan.
Everyone calls him Stefan.
Stefan.
Just Stefan.
Stefan.
That's a common name now. It's the lead character of the Vampire Diaries. Name is Stefan.
That's where it's coming
So
from.
like all these nurses are just like Stefan, and I'm like, no, Stefan.
Vampire Diary bitch. Get out of here.
It's common though. Like there's a NASCAR driver, Stefan Parsons, and it's just like it's just weird that it's pronounced Stefan, but it's spelled F-A-N. I'm like, wouldn't Stefan would be with like 2 F's and an E-N or something? Like I don't know. It's just different dialects from around the world. I think it's a British dialect to call it Stefan.
He's a little British.
Hey, Stefan.
He looks like he's from London.
Stefan to me sounds kind of French or something.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like very Eastern European to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I like it.
Less letters and more like when you see like someone like from Eastern Europe like named like Peter, but it's like not P-E-T-E-R, it's P-E-T-R or P-I-T-R.
It was weird when I was at that air show in Ocean City, and I haven't talked to the kids since my junior year of high school, so I didn't go up to him and be like, "Hey, Stefan, what's up, bro?" Like I'm an
I named my kid after you.
That's
Wanna
what
meet
was
him?
weird. He's the only one of 2 Stefans I've ever met in life. The other one's Stefan
Stefan
Rivard.
Rivard.
So it's just like,
Jay
No.
would have loved that reference.
no, my son is
Rivy?
not named after Rivy or Stefan Harden, although they are both great hockey players. But
Big dicks.
It's just a cool name. I've never seen either of their dicks.
I've seen both of them, and I did not play hockey with either.
Stefan he's a little dude. Like he was not very tall, but he was just real greasy. He was gritty in the corners. He had great fucking vision, and like he was not afraid to muck it
Rub
up.
it
Like,
in,
he
why
was a
don't you?
real scrappy dude. He like some of the small kids. This sounds gay, but I would like kind of get their back. But like I didn't. This kid could handle his own. Like you know what I
Nice.
mean. He was tougher than me. Like. I don't know. Kid was a beast. So not a bad kid to name my kid after, but that's not who I named him after. But I just saw him at the airport and I was like, this is so weird. Like, hey, Stefan, meet my son, Stefan. I was so fond of you in high school hockey. I said, who's a good role model for my kid? This kid who I haven't talked to since 2010.
Jay breaks my balls, but I said that if I ever do have a son, I want to name him Loomis or Mordecai. And he's like, don't name your kid Loomis or Mordecai.
Don't.
They're fucking good names.
Morty.
Morty.
What I wanted to talk about before was you said everything is deliberate that's in TV shows.
Yeah.
So what's more obnoxious to me than the Freemasonry symbolism in The Sopranos?
Girl dads.
It's in the occultic symbolism. Occultic symbolism in The Sopranos. What's more, not annoying, but like obvious to me is the blatant product placement throughout the entire series. Like every time they drink a soda, it's Coca-Cola. Like you know what I mean? Like there's a lot, and like that's obviously
corporate sponsorship. Like
they get paid for that.
Yeah, totally.
Actually, 'cause I tried to Google it before, and some people, there's 2 camps on that because it has come up in the different Sopranos zeitgeist on the different social media platforms of like, some people think it's obvious product placement when they're getting paid, and then other people say, oh no, that was an artistic choice to like make the show appear more legitimate. Like they had to pay Coke to be able to do that, and like there's no fucking way. Like that had to be a fucking give us money. That may not have been David Chase's choice, but it was definitely HBO's fucking choice. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
And it's like, how many shows have like Dr. Wright and like, you know, Coca-Cola or whatever? You know what I mean? They have like these fake sodas that kind of look like the real one, but it's definitely fake. But
So
like,
there's brand tie-ins for certain companies. So if you notice, a lot of NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox productions, they use real products. But then you have
we only use General Mills products.
But then you get like to like TBS and like FX and stuff like that, and there's the occasional outright product placement, but they're not, and it usually comes back to the contractual obligations of the parent company. Some are Coke, some are Pepsi, some are Nestle, some are Dasani. Like, you know, there's
Even
certain
cars.
Yeah.
The car, like Tony always had a fucking Chevy or
Uh-huh.
like some form of a General Motors car. The most blatant one I can think of off the top of my head in The Sopranos was when AJ gets a Nissan Xterra and he's like, look, it's the 2006 Nissan Xterra. Comes with 4x4. Great handling. Like, he literally did
just an
he
ad.
did like a fucking literal ad.
It's an ad read.
Gets 18 miles to the gallon. You know, good for the environment and the economy.
Actually, I do suppose this is a good opportunity. So our most recent sponsor is BetDSI.com. Go to BetDSI.com, promo code BT1. No, fucking with you.
I was like, damn, do we really get sponsored by some shady internet casino?
Yeah, dude. I would love that.
What was that one that everyone was doing?
Stake US.
No, it was like My Bookie.
My Bookie. Yeah, I used My Bookie. I used Stanhope's promo code for that. And
Uncle
they
Joey always used
they
to be.
stole $20 out of my checking account. It was a test. It was like literally that was what they told me on the phone. Some Jamaican guy just yelling at me like, "No, it's a test. I don't know what you are talking about."
He's just ordering DoorDash with your $20.
So
dude.
the way that they make it look like you're not like
Isn't it in crypto or something weird or
no,
something?
it's in they changed the denomination based on the exchange rate for one of the local currencies, which if I'm not mistaken, they were using Canadian currency. So every time it was like I would put $100 into my account, it would come back as like 108.41, and I'm like, "What the fuck happened here, guys?" And they're like,
Dude, you're doing Forex,
some
dude.
Jamaican guy is like, "Oh, we have to convert it to the Canadian exchange rate," and I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because we don't take U.S. dollars." I was like, "What happens when I get paid out?" They're like, "You're not going to get paid out."
You're going to lose.
Well, yeah, like it basically, they were just like ripping you off for like nickels and dimes, and that was like how they were making money on their back end. Is like because like people would fucking load up and then just be like, "Oh, we need to exchange it or whatever," and they're just like skimming an extra like $10 off every transaction.
Damn.
Yeah, fucking sketchy.
I've heard nothing but bad things about MyBookie.
MyBookie sucks.
MyBookie.ag. I went on the website, and this was when I was on my big tilt for like that 6-month period there, where I was shopping around. Who's got the best line? You know, I was reading all the the Twitter guys,
All
the
the
gamblers.
bloggers.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
reading watching all the YouTubers, being like, you gotta shop around, find the best line.
You gotta find the best line.
I was going full degen, and I went on MyBookie. They had some good odds. But just the site alone, I was like, "This is sketchy." Like,
it's like
so,
it's like the Foreman Mills of
yeah.
fucking
It's just not, I
sports
just
books.
was like, I'm
yeah.
not putting my credit card information on this.
I went and got a Visa Vanilla.
I'll just
card.
pay the fucking tax on what's the one, William Hill or whatever that I
Yeah.
always used to use. Fuck
I-
William Hill, dude.
I went.
DraftKings is where it's at.
I went and got a $150 vanilla Visa gift card to use on that site, and that like thing like it bricked that from that transaction. Like I could never use that card
On
correctly.
MyBookie?
Yeah, it was like I used it
What's
once.
vanilla? Like a Visa
It's
type
it's
gift card?
a gift card, but it's like not like a gift card where there's like fees associated. It just works like a debit card. So they were like, if you're gonna use a gift card, use this specific card. I used that specific card, and sure enough, it like shut it off. So
they
I
just took the 150.
they took $108, and then the second time I was trying to put $50 on there, and they were like, there's insufficient funds, so I put $25 on there, and they took like $26 or like $27 or something like that. So then like I was like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. 'cause
It's
they
not
just
like
did it.
it's not going like dollar for dollar what you're
No,
entering.
it's-
It's just
it's
some like
not,
Jamaican dude being
and
like,
then, like,
I'm gonna take $2.
I tried to use like I wanted to see what the difference was, so you can pay at Walmart on multiple cards, and I tried to pay with that card. It was just like straight up declined, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's about right for this.
Yeah, that shit's sketchy. I don't gamble anymore. I've hit the tables a couple times on special occasions, birthdays and stuff like that, but I gotta stay away from it. I'm a fucking bad degen. But when I was online gambling, sports betting in particular, You got to go with the big sites. You can't.
Yeah, you can't go for
you
the
just
niche ones.
even the weird like
even steak. I'm not.
Bet3. Even you can't even do the shitty like I had Bet365. That was fucking.
That's a
It was
scam.
legitimate. No, it wasn't a
it's
scam.
Scammy.
It wasn't. I never was wronged on there or anything. I think one bet it made a push when it shouldn't have, and I spazzed and I deleted the app. But like, it's maybe a little scammy, but it was very goofy. Like, just I don't know. It's
Not user friendly.
Yeah, the interface was just retarded. Like, I say if you're gonna gamble, my favorite aesthetically, I guess, and just interface was DraftKings for sure. I used William Hill a lot. I get bad memories just thinking of William Hill losing basketball bets at like 2 a.m. Just fucking
through cycling.
watching the score on the William Hill app. You just see it like updating every few minutes, like not even watching the game. Just a long coin flip for fucking 2 hours while I'm chaining darts in my fucking Ford
Fuck
Ranger.
yeah, dude. Driving around.
Fuck William Hill. They're fair, but I go DraftKings, and then I don't know why I'm recommending which sites to gamble on. What would you gamble? People like FanDuel because you can cash out early, but I never really liked FanDuel too much either.
Cash out early on DraftKings too.
It wasn't. FanDuel was the only one at the time.
Yeah,
I think
this one-
DraftKings introduced it at the end of my run. but-
I was I made $50 on DraftKings this last week gambling on football and
Nice.
postseason baseball.
Time to retire.
Nah, man, I've had fun with it. I've been playing a lot of postseason baseball because it's like the scores are pretty low and you can just like easy. That's already settled.
You should have
for
bet Stenhouse every single race this year. You would have been rich
Yeah, probably.
to win outright. The odds on that. Well, Talladega, he probably actually had not great odds.
He was in the top 3. I saw that. I checked it that morning.
Yeah,
Actually,
okay.
or top
He's
4,
like
top
a super
4.
speedway specialist, so that's.
It was
I
him,
thought he was going to get Stenhouse level odds at every track.
Chastain, and there was another one that I recommend. The fucking
Chastain did run up front most of the day, but that was probably after practice and stuff.
No, it was after they already
qualifying. After quali.
Yeah, it was like well after. It was like an hour and a half before the race. The only reason I even checked it was because I was at work making Friendsgiving.
It's so crazy that your dad mentioned Big Machine Records when I went on a rabbit hole about Big Machine racing the other night.
Big Machine Peckers.
I didn't realize that the guy that I fucking crab swirled about, Parker Kligerman, that
Guy
lost
that gave you crabs.
lost on a technicality or whatever you said, which it was the right call, but it's the equivalent of like letting the guy get to the 1 yard line and then before they blow the play dead for a fucking false start. You know what I mean? Like they made the right call, but they should have threw the yellow 30 seconds prior. They literally waited till he got to the start finish line. They were like, oh wait, nope, that's a caution. Like, you know what I mean? They fucked him.
Yeah.
But no, the guy who owns his team, Scott Borchetta, is the Big Machine Records guy. Because like there was some Taylor Swift thing writing. I looked up Parker Kligerman and somehow the team came up on Twitter, and then it was like Taylor Swift writing the team owner dude.
Song.
No. She was like when she left that label or whatever, she like wrote this like long post about the guy, and like that's the guy who owns this race team or something.
Like a good post, bad post? Or?
No, she was like thankful for him, like
Okay.
pushing her career out
Pushing
or
her
whatever.
shit.
Yeah, probably. I don't fucking know. Going back to selling daughters.
Taylor Swift had to go sit on Daddy's lap.
But no, that's it was so weird to hear him say Big Machine Records, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize the record label was called that because all weekend I've been like
Big
looking
Machine Racing.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is I don't know. Anyway, what else is new, babe?
Done with work. That's fun. I'm looking forward to if anybody feels like having a good
That sucks.
socialization time.
I was gonna before you were officially done, I was gonna bring the family and not tell you and just have dinner. Do you guys open at all?
Yeah, no, we're not open anymore, but
No.
I can make you food if you want. I'll just come over and
That's
fucking
fine.
cook at your house.
No, I was literally just gonna go and like fuck with you and like.
Good, I would love that. You just
Yeah.
order like 6 fish tacos.
No, I
and
was
then-
literally
and
going to
send
order,
all of
like-
them, send like 3 of them back, and then just be like,
Everyone's getting fish tacos
everybody's
at the table.
getting, hey, can you cut up this fish? Can you put this fish taco in a blender? My kid doesn't have teeth yet. No, he still wants the fish tacos. Give him the fucking jalapenos with the seeds.
Is this gluten-free wraps? I'm allergic to shrimp.
I'm allergic to
Say that after they drop the check.
I'm allergic to fryer
Put
oil.
like Halloween makeup on my face. And it looks like it's breaking
dude,
out.
that would be so fucking funny. You come in and you get like dry ice or something like that, and like stick it in your hair. It's like whew, it's a little hot in here. Something looks like you got smoke coming out.
You guys make shellfish here? I'm
guys,
extremely allergic.
Seafood, is that fish?
I seafood and I eat it.
Seafood. I
I
eat.
heard that joke.
Yeah.
Can I get some chicken?
Nick at work has this one that he sent us, where it's like this fat Italian guy talking about sausage and cheese. Have you seen that?
No.
It's like this big fat fucking Dago, and he's like walking around a deli. And he's like, "This one is called the so and so. It's sausage and cheese."
Is it the real big fat
and
dude?
he's
It's like Johnny.
Yeah, and he's
Johnny fucking.
like Johnny Walnuts. Johnny.
No, it's his name. It's like Johnny Gotti or something.
yeah,
he needs to play off the John Gotti
But
name.
but he's like walking around and he's like, "You see this? Very healthy. I eat it on the grill. Lots of onions. My cholesterol's 800, but that don't mean nothing. When it gets to 1,000, sell." It's like, it's just some, like,
You're gonna die at 40.
yeah, he's like 60, but he's like seriously shaped.
Oh, that.
He's
I'm
shaped
picturing
like
a different dude.
he's shaped like Vito. Like
There's a young guy who, there's some young dude. He goes by like Jim Gotti or some fucking thing, but he's like 9. He's actually been on those podcasts with that little hermaphrodite, little Mario. But
Mario.
yeah, he's on there. He's like one of the big fat dudes on there, but he's always talking about food and stuff. He's like, "Oh, this prosciutto fucking mousse."
Oh, the mozz
Maron.
it melts in your mouth. It was like
I
something
enjoy
that
it.
they saw in the old.
I want to
world.
hear some fat Italian dudes talk about food.
That's just it.
That makes me
That's
hungry.
That's the only people I like here. Like, I don't want to hear Gordon Ramsay telling me how to make fucking eggs, or like fucking what's the guy's name? Julian fucking.
Avril Lagasse. Emerald Lagasse.
Avril Lavigne Lagasse. Avril Lavigne Lagasse.
Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri. I don't want to hear anybody talk like romanticizing food. I just want to hear fat Italian guys go get so like happy and excited and concerned at the same time for the meal that they're
Talking about gravy.
They just do like, "Oh, I don't have any words for this, Maron." And they just start like fucking, "What was the deech? Yeah, I don't even know how to say it." You know, that's what I want to hear. It's like they talk about pussy the same way they talk about fucking.
I was just gonna
food.
say, it reminds me of the guy who used to own Pizza Station when we were like teenagers, and my teenage girlfriend was working there. He's like, "The 2 best things in life: good sex and good food." He's just saying this like a 14-year-old girl, dude.
Oh yeah,
It's
they're
just so
they're
weird.
fucking shameless.
I was like jealous, dude. I thought he was macking on my girl. I was like, "I don't want you working here no more.
You're not
This
working
guy's
there. I'll take care of
It's
you."
no good.
I know how to take care of you.
I'm earning now.
Just go in there with
I had no money.
Pop-Tart and a fucking Fanta.
I had $20 lunch money from me, mom, that I was saving to buy a gram of weed at the end of the week.
care of you.
Yeah, no, I was an idiot.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I used to go give. I had Uncle Bob energy when I was a teenager. I would go walk in my grandma's room and be like, so the guys want to go to the movies later, but I don't have any money, so
What about the $40 I gave you
Nah,
for
she
fucking
wouldn't
dinner?
even. She'd bust me off like 40 or 60, and I'd just get
Damn.
like, yeah, dude.
Your mom was balling.
I wouldn't spend any of it on food or movies or anything. I would just buy weed. Like if I needed weed, I would just go like hit her with some fake sob story, like
I need books, Mom.
I need new wheels for my roller hockey skates.
We
you
just
know?
got you new wheels 2 weeks ago.
Nah, they're the ones from last year. Like, yeah, and we want to go to open hockey later. That's 20. And I wouldn't do any of it. I would just buy drugs.
Just buy drugs and hang out.
She would give me $60 lunch money every day, or every week, I mean, and which is good because lunch was like $3 if you ate the allotted amount, but I was a fat fuck, so I would get like 2 chicken patties. Like I would go ham. I'd spend like a 10 spot every day, which is pretty hard to do in a school cafeteria, but
Still put
Snickers
it down.
ice cream bar at fucking
Oh,
11
yeah.
a.m. Dude,
Bro,
then go
you
run
just
to
gotta
gym class.
shit by like 1:30, and then like you got like a stomach ache on the ride home. You turn green on the bus.
I'm gonna nap when I get
Bro,
home, dude.
I almost shit myself on the way
It was
home.
$1 for 3 cookies. I'd go throw like $5 down and just go retarded. at the
There,
fucking-
so you were probably too late for these. Like you might have been a little too late because like they stopped giving mozzarella sticks at the middle school because Sarah, my sister,
someone choked.
Sarah choked. Yeah, she almost died next to me, and luckily I was like smart enough to be like, she's got mozzarella cheese, just like hit her on the back, and they did, and they were like, why didn't you do that? I was like, I'm not fucking hitting her. Like it's a
I don't
girl.
want a lawsuit.
So like yeah, anyway, she
It's
was
a
fine.
girl.
Sarah's fine. Yeah, like I'm not touching Sarah, but she also hit me back too. That'd probably fucking be even more embarrassing, but. They had mozzarella sticks, and I remember the one time the mozzarella sticks just didn't taste right. Like, it was like they dropped them in the oil and, like, let them sit there, but they never, like, cooked or whatever. They were just, like, wet, like, very soggy, hard pieces of mozzarella cheese.
I don't remember.
But I ate it, and then, like, 20 minutes later, I had to shit. I shit so bad, I had to call
they
my
don't
mom.
even put them in the oil. They put them in an oven, just on a sheet tray.
Dude, like, whatever
one
they
side's burnt and the other side's raw.
whatever the fuck
They don't
did.
flip them or nothing.
No, like
They just-
whatever they fucking did to these mozzarella sticks, it was just not right. And I ate all of them and was like, I am so sick. And like, there's probably like egg wash or something that needs to get cooked out that they didn't. So like, I just shat. I shat so bad, I was crying. I went to the nurse and had my mom come get me. It was like
Oh my
6th or 7th
I
grade.
never had to leave school for poops. poops.
It was never poops, but I felt like I literally
That
like
was
had
food
like
poisoning.
abdominal
Yeah.
cramps. Like I was like how bad it was, but like I was like crying in the nurse's office and like in the fetal position.
That's a
on the
rough
side.
one, dude.
I used to be able to
Tummy
make myself.
aches are rough,
I used to
dude.
make myself throw up though. Tummy aches were
You were like an MLB pitcher.
yeah.
I'm
totally.
the callback guy.
Yeah.
That was from last week's episode, if you guys aren't paying attention.
Also, I just realized like 15-20 minutes ago while I was inside giving the dog food that I accidentally deleted the fucking episode from last week.
Oh, that's great.
It was on
That
the
wasn't
recorder.
on last week's episode.
No. The MLB pitcher, that episode that's on YouTube is on there. The one that we recorded, I haven't gotten the edit yet. Was on the recorder and the camera, and I fucking never put them on my computer.
That's great.
So I formatted the hard drives.
I
Oops.
won't tell Tina that. You just go there for nothing. You didn't even post it.
Is that what her
Break-
complaint's gonna be? I'm gonna come over there and belt her.
No, I'll do that.
You call this nothing? This is my hobby. This is
my
my
job.
passion. This is my I'm a good
I'm
earner.
earning.
Yeah. All right. What do you got to plug? I gotta get out of here.
So Sugar Hill subs. I had something else, but I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Parker Kligerman got fucked. And I wish we could have called in right after that because I was like screaming at my television. Like, I would love. I'm over it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's been 4 or 5 days.
Just record yourself.
It was bad. And like my kids were in the house, and it's just
Nice.
me in the other room being like, "Fuck you! This is fucking bullshit!" Just screaming profanities, like calling Sam Mayer a faggot over and over again. But yeah,
As deserved.
Cup race was a real stinker, and they're off to Vegas this week, which is a fucking dud. I don't really like Vegas as a track; it's just boring. They just
So-
kind of get spread out and
It's a
go
big
in
road
circles.
course.
No, it's not. It's an oval, but
Oh, I
it's
thought it
just
was a big road course.
no.
Wasn't that the Formula One that was the big road course?
Yeah, that's the street. That's
Yeah.
the street course or whatever.
That's what I want to see.
Las Vegas Motor Speedway is just a mile and a half cookie cutter oval. It's
Is it a
the
circuit?
cup cars. They probably put on a good show.
Cop cars.
Cup cars
Woo!
this Sunday, but I don't know. I race on Vegas on the sim, and it's just a boring fucking track. I'm not good at it. I don't like it.
You should.
I suck at road courses, so now I'm like, man, fuck road courses, dude. I'm only good at turning left.
You should do like fucking we're gonna lose and just like drive it. I said I was going high.
I don't even play online.
You just play in the
I do sometimes, but it's annoying because it's like I'll get on at 10:15 and it'll be like the next race is until 11. It's just like, well, I'll just play the computer then.
I'm
Like,
just gonna
not-
play against myself.
Yeah, I suck so bad that I usually wreck out early anyway, and I'm in the rookie class, so like most of the people on there are just like dive bombing into each other, so it's just a big
Nice.
wreck fest. It's just stupid. I suck. But yeah, I would thoroughly. That's basically all it is everyone's just we're gonna lose. They're just
Yeah.
fucking just punting each other. Same
Why'd
on
you
the
pit?
same on the console game where you
Why'd you
just go
pit
on
so
the
early?
console game and people just literally like they wait on the side and you go past them and they're just like just slam you into the wall. It's like
Yeah, that's my.
I've been running this race for like 25 minutes and like last lap you just fucking take out the whole like and it's like multiple people doing that. Like it's just so stupid. Dude. Oh,
That's
dude.
my kind of racing. That's Robin's racing.
Computers run you fair, dude. They run you hard, but they run you clean. You know
I
what
want
I'm
to
saying?
fucking just ruin
They
somebody's.
don't ever crash. It's weird.
I don't like that they have a ranking system because I would get off so hard on just like fucking doing like.
I want to
weird
make it up to the higher rank and then just tank my rank by just
Yeah, dude.
dumping like semi-pro dudes and fucking
Nice.
like sanctioned races or whatever. That'd be fun. That's a long game though. It's
my
gonna take
monitor
me.
turned off. I don't know what you're
I
talking
had a
about.
seizure. Who me?
Who, me?
Yeah, plug. We're gonna lose. Plug
Yeah.
HRS design and promote or promotion and design. Or
Design and promotion, yeah.
Okay.
And then
Wanna get it right.
plug 11R. Plug Shepherd Racing and Motorsports.
And Shepard's auto detailing. If you need your car shined up and you want to support our boy B Shep, give him a shout. I know I got to get my cars done. I've been kind of put it off because got to tighten up the belt a little bit here. But
You're saying you're too fat to get in your car?
yes, so
No,
I got to get a bigger car and then I'll have him come wash that one. But no sense in washing a car that I
Make him
can't
wash
fit
the
in
Larry.
anymore. That does need a good one. That's a good idea. I've been dreading. That thing's got like scum on it. I got a job for you, Shep. But no, for real. I'm gonna get my cars done by him, and you should too. So give him a shout on Facebook. 'Cause I can't think of his phone number off the top of my head. It's like 846 something. But
6'9".
he'll also be playing the Milwaukee Funny Bone with Jay.
Yeah,
He's a
Shep's
funny
gonna
guy.
be in fucking Dayton, and
He's opening up for Jelly Roll on the second leg,
Oh.
leg of his tour.
It's making me. You want to talk industry plants? There's your boy.
No, Shep went.
I don't know. It's like I'm glad Chef went. I'm glad Chef had a good time. I'm telling you, I think Jelly Roll's an industry.
I'm kind of indifferent. Joe hates Jelly Roll, though.
I just don't like him. I think he's manufactured. But
He
that's
reminds
neither
me of
here
my
nor-
friend Dom.
He's neither here nor there.
You
All right.
met Dom,
I
right?
did. Yeah, we went
He-
racing. Good. I gotta get out of
He
here.
looks like fat. Jelly Roll looks like a fat Dom.
Dom's cool though. Don't
But
put
I'm
him.
no, I'm saying they have similar face and like haircut and stuff.
That's fair, but I like Dom.
I know.
I don't like Jelly
This is just a
Roll.
looks based thing.
I don't want to back. I don't want to look.
Dom's like a handsome Jelly Roll.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
It's a fucked up thing to say.
Stewart's Handyman Service and Supply or whatever.
It's supply.
609-338-9427. Stu, I need some work done too. I'm gonna have to cut a fucking check because I'm like my artsy exit.
We're still rolling. We're still rolling.